Total Smith here. Make sure y'all subscribe to my boy Downtown Deuce ASAP. Come on, man.
Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. It's our time. Can you feel the elevation? We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination. Together all the time together. It's us against the world, it don't get no better. We turned it around, that was the beginning. Coming for the crown, you know we winning. Time to put in the work, I'm about to go for stuff. Taking our prisoners, it's my time. Yeah, I know that it hurts. Tearing back out the church, you don't wanna see me in my prime. The mission is to ring, we're caught in everything. In the city, supporting the dream. Vision new I never seen, we deserve to be king. It's all or nothing, no in between. The clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The doggone body's crippling. Now the clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The doggone body's crippling. Yeah, the elevation. We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination.
Detroit basketball. Ooh, excuse me. Ball. Excuse me. What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Deuce Show with the boss. Hope everybody is having a great weekend so far on this Saturday night. Boss, what's the word? What's going on with you?
Feel good. That was a really satisfying win. It's been a good day. Happy weekend. So
Happy weekend, everybody, man. On this Saturday night, it's snowing again, man. It is snowing. All the snow is gone for like half a day, and here it returns. The next 7 out of 10 days is supposed to snow. So fun times over here in Michigan. You got any snow over there?
We got like some frost, but no, I'm actually really concerned. We really haven't had any snow this winter, which is not good because we're in a wildfire. When I moved from Chicago to Denver, I didn't have to worry about wildfires. And when we have a super dry season, it's always concerning, but it just makes the air awful. Ash falls from the sky, you know. But yeah, I think tomorrow's gonna be in the 60s. Like it has not been a winter.
I am hating and unapologetically hating because like I can't wait for this to be done, just over with. Anyway. I can talk about that all day long. Anyway, guys, what's going on with y'all, man? We see y'all in the chat, man. We see y'all. A lot of comments, a lot of stuff we're going to try to get to. Y'all know the drill. If we miss you, repost a comment, put it in caps, super chat, whatever you guys want to do. But we appreciate you guys showing up per usual. Boss, let's get into the PSA before we get into this game, shall we?
Okay. Yeah, guys, it's still February, and so we're still running the 50% of all super chats. We'll be going to the Isaiah Stewart Learning Center. It's his after-school program that he funds. It's in Rochester, New York, but Isaiah Stewart co-founded it with Dr. Bernice Green Sr., and Isaiah Stewart attended the after-school program himself when he was younger, so now he just, helps fund it when they thought they were going to go under, and he swooped in to help save the day. So I love that about that. So we're just going to continue to help him. We missed him tonight. We won't see him again until March 3rd, but for February, we'll have his back on donations. So
for sure. Is it me or is your hair a little bit different tonight?
Yeah, I got a haircut today, and when they do it so nice, my hair is usually in a ponytail because I work with kids and, kids pull hair. So, yeah.
I'm like, she must have been extra happy about this win. She didn't put a little extra into it tonight.
I told my hairstylist about this. I was like, I'm going to wear it down for you. So
I ain't mad. All right, you guys, let's get into it, man. So, guys, if you missed this game tonight, the Pistons picked up their 5th straight dub, beating the Bulls 126-110, putting up 126 for the 2nd straight game in a row when they beat the Knicks 126-111. And they improved to a league best 42-13 on the regular season. As far as the injury report, the Pistons got a welcome addition back in JD. Jalen Duren returned after missing his last 2 with that suspension. And of course, Isaiah Stewart is still out. He's out for the next 4 games after tonight. Even though we haven't lost without those guys, it's still nice to have those guys back, and it'll be nice to have Stu back for the stretch run, boss. But especially just considering that the remaining schedule is going to be tough, some really tough and important games. We'll get to that later. But on the Bulls front, I was hoping we get a chance to see J.I. in his return, or our return, whatever, however you want to say it. But unfortunately, he was out with knee soreness. I guess he had some test ran or something. They were saying he didn't look good, didn't sound good, wasn't looking good in the court. So unfortunately for him, he's going to be out a little bit longer. But it was nice to see this. It was nice to see after the game, these guys kind of all came together as brothers, and just they talked for like a good 2 minutes after the game was over, just kind of chatting and everything. But you can see the love is real. These guys really do care about each other. And then if you guys heard JD's interview after the game, he just kept saying, "That's my brother, that's my brother, that's my brother, my favorite player. I always have love for him," all that stuff. So you can see, even though they're not together anymore on the court, these guys are definitely part of that brotherhood. So it's nice to see that for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna kick it to you, but for me, boss, I think the Bulls should just shut him down for the rest of the year. Personally,
Agreed.
I think like they're not going anywhere. It's obvious that he's not right physically. They got a ton of guards on this roster. Just shut him down and let him hopefully, be able to get fully right. And I only say that because I don't want people to think his play this season is gonna to come across as like that's an indication of the player that he is when he's healthy, because he's not. Totally different guy. So we've seen him healthy, and he's just not that right now. So I don't want them to keep playing him. It's not and become accustomed to seeing that and think that's who he is, because it's just not that.
Yeah, and Ivey also had a post-game interview the other day after it was a coach's decision not to play him. They didn't really they said it was a healthy scratch, and now we have some more to go. But and one of the things he said is that the old Ivey is dead, and it's just it's just a strong statement. And I'm just hoping that he takes time to not only heal physically, but just get his head right. Like, I don't want him to feel rushed, because I don't want him to feel, he has a lot of support. He has a huge support system. He obviously loves his family. He loves Jesus. Like, he feels like he's good there, but not 100% at basketball yet. And I want J.I. to come back when he feels 100% at basketball, physically, mentally, both. I was watching some highlights the other day of him just from a couple of seasons ago. And what we thought, when we were like, Jaden's starting to look like his old self, or that was old Jaden, like, it kind of showed me that it really wasn't. He has, I think, a long way to go. Not super long, but I think that for the type of player he is, I hope that he gets the time to get back to that, because he's still young. He can still be a force in this NBA. So I just hope that, the team, the Bulls and Ivy both give themselves the grace to, figure out how to get back to that in the right way.
I agree with you too. Like, I felt like when we were saying that he looked like he was getting better or he had improved, it was the mental part for me. It was never the physical part where it's like, oh, there's the burst. Like, we would see it in flashes, right? But then we see him wincing at times, and it wasn't consistent. So for me, it was always more so like the mental part of the game that I was noticing, how he was playing defense and things like that had nothing to do with his actual injury, right?
Yeah.
But he never looked like the guy we saw with our eyes. Just the burst, the physicality, just the speed. We never saw that to the level we saw last year when he was really healthy. So I agree with you. I'm just hoping that he's able to rebound. That's my guy. And just be able to get right and take his time and not feel pressure to rush to do anything he shouldn't be doing prematurely.
Truly. I know sometimes, his dad tunes in, sometimes Jaden tunes in. And obviously the chat showing you love, we love you, we support you in your whole NBA career. So we just obviously want what's best for a really good person and a really good player.
Exactly. Yep. So we'll leave that there, boss. And now let's go ahead and get to the actual details of this game. So guys, the starters tonight were the usual. Cade, Duncan Robinson, Ausar Thompson, Tobias, and JD. And we are about to get this poll going as to who you guys thought should get the belt, or who you guys think will get the belt. So that is live. You guys go ahead and have at that. Boss, initial thoughts. Lots to
Oh
get to in this
man.
game that we can get to. Before I do that, let's get this super chat in first from our guy
Oh
Dom.
yeah.
Dom Madavi showing love. Let me go ahead and do my customary so I can make sure I get my head in here while I'm reading this comment. Dom Madavi says, got the win, but I'm getting annoyed when we play bad teams. We don't come out on business. Shouldn't take JB cussing the team out at halftime to log in. Wasn't a fan of the close either. No matter the opponent, BTA, Wizards, right. Yeah, we're going to get to all that, bro. I think those points are very well taken. It's good to get a win. Every win's not going to be perfect, right? We understand that. But at this point in the season, it's about building good habits and playing consistently a certain way, right? Having that same intensity level every game, every quarter, just playing as if you're getting ready for the playoffs, because we are. So I agree with you there. It was a little bit of a slow start. We're going to get to a little bit of a slow start, first half a little slow. I'll let you get to it too, boss. But
Yeah.
I did also see JB visibly upset with them by halftime, right? So, and as JD said that in the post game, he said, Johnny Kane said, so what happened between the first and second half? He said, well, JB said some things to us and then we got on our game. So
yeah,
definitely to your point, bro, that's what they have to keep in mind as a young team, is just continue to build and sustain these good habits, because on any given night, you can be beat by anybody, as we saw with that Wizards game. And come playoff time, you can't have games like that, because that might cost you the series. So I totally agree with you, bro. Any thoughts on that, boss?
Yeah, I agree as well. Even Paul Reed at his halftime interview was like, coach is not going to be happy with that. I know coach is not about that. And, they also mentioned in the first that coach talked to them about how this could be a trap game. He's like, it's in between honestly, three big teams coming up. So like two hard teams, kind of what happened with the Wizards. So he tried to get their mind right. And I do think Chicago was, nailing their threes. They do have a lot of young guys that can get it done. But I think that the lack of defense was there. And it was a fun basketball game in the sense that like both teams were kind of hitting cool shots, all that stuff. Like that was fun. But it was, if you were a Bulls fan, that first half was really fun for you. As a Pistons fan, you're like, hey, this is stuff that like we usually don't let slide. Even though we're getting some stuff done on the offensive end, they were getting way too easy things on their offensive end. We were just getting away with some poor defense at times. The second half, we really changed that around. But I agree in the final minutes too, I was annoyed by that. But then I, kind of chalked it up that teams usually go on runs. That was us too. So like they were going out, they were taking advantage of our poor decision making and went on a run. We locked in and got it, but we definitely should have. I think they scored like 10 or 13 points.
Yeah,
again.
Got a little lazy. Got a little lazy at the end of the game. They're still playing hard, trying to make the score look a little bit better. So I get it. Yeah.
But that was, thank you, Dom, for that. And that was
Appreciate
the majority,
you, bro, as always. Yeah.
A lot of my initial thoughts. I also, there are some stats I noticed. Did you notice the stat that they put on the screen that this was the 18th game of the season with 20 or more forced turnovers?
Wow, 18.
And listen, the last time we did that was 2003, 2004 when we won. So you know what that tells me is that team basketball and defense is what helps us when we're forcing. And that was the most since 2003-24, and that it ties with it. So we could break that this year.
Right.
And that's at a different time. That's when defense was a part of the league more widespread. So
you shouldn't have told me that, man.
I just noticed that. I loved it. Yeah. And then, our bench defense in the first, that's when our defense, they kind of lit a fire under it. When the bench came on, that's when they started getting steals, Ron, LeVert. And then I've noticed more individual things, but I loved in the third that the Chicago crowd was booing. And look, guys, this is the arena that I grew up watching the Pistons at. And it just made me laugh because I remember getting like a drink thrown at me when I was like 11 in a Pistons jersey. I remember Michael Jordan being at the game in a box behind us and refusing to wave to me because I was wearing a Pistons jersey. Hostile environment. So for them to boo their own team, I was like, that's Chicago. I remember going to Memphis and watching a game out there with my family and warning my family, like, hey, sometimes fans get a little bit rude to opposing people that cheer for opposing teams. And after the game, Memphis fans came up to us and they were like, we just loved your knowledge. You were rooting for everyone out there. I was like, wow, this is not how I grew up, but it just brought back some memories, seeing the United Center. But just our defense turned on in the second half. We got it going. I guess the last thing I noticed was that they put in, because we talked about what the guard rotation will be, that number 2. And they put in Sass at the end instead of Herter. They could have put in both, but they put in Sass instead of Herter. And I think that is a little bit of a signal that that's kind of how they'll run it. Because Herter's new, but this was also his former team. They could have given him the garbage minutes and they chose not to.
Yeah,
I think they chose to reward Sass, not only because he's with us longer and everything, but I think that's kind of what it will. I think that answers the question of like, it'll be LeVert and then Sass and then Herter.
I don't know. We'll see. It's still early. He's still brand new here.
That's true.
So
but don't you think
I think it's more so just the fact that Sasser hasn't really played as much and they want to give him an opportunity because JB did just say that he not too long ago, they don't want to just throw him out there with on a brand new team and expect him to just get going. So I think he's just more so getting acclimated. Who knows?
That's fair.
I do think we'll see him more as the season goes on once he gets acclimated. But we'll see. We'll see. Good going away.
That's super fair. I just thought I thought that if anything, he would maybe make some shots in the arena he's most familiar with lately. So
yeah.
But,
you would think, you never know.
I guess I more so to see them both, but that's just what I noticed. So and other things that were just more individual than overall. But I'm glad we pulled it out. We won decisively. Yeah, they went on a run in the end, but this is what we needed, and not especially after the first. I was like, this better not come down to the wire. Even the second. So
exactly. Third quarter, I want this game to be over.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the Bulls came into this game on a 7-game losing streak. So I was expecting to win this game, but I also know a lot of times when the deeper you get into losing streaks, the more desperate you can become at times. So I did not want to see a repeat of the Wizards game. That was my first thing. That game showed us that we can be beat by anybody. We can get anybody's best game on any given night. And if you're playing your worst game on that night, you might lose that game. So just playing below your standard. So I thought and hoped they would take care of business. I just felt like they let the Bulls hang around too long.
Agreed.
They let them hang around too long in that first half. In that second quarter, there were quite a few defensive breakdowns in that first half. Just too many offensive rebounds being given up. Not enough resistance at the rim, like giving up layups and stuff at the rim, which is what ticked JB off. It just felt like the Pistons were just kind of going through the motions. And we saw JB ticked off about it. So I thought the Bulls play hard to give them credit. They did play hard. They played number 1 team in the East. They know who it is. So they tried to bring their A game. It just didn't have enough to sustain it. So I was upset about the first half. I ain't gonna lie. Like I was like, let's come with the right approach. They didn't come with the right approach. I didn't feel like they did pick it up in the second half, and they showed it. Once again, they showed it quickly. They showed how quickly they can take over a game against an inferior team when they lock in, right? 12 points in those first 2 minutes of the second half. They were only up 3 to start the half, and they were up 25 in that same third quarter. So that was crazy. But they did what they do best. Just get stops off their defense, and get out in transition. Time out Bulls in the first 2 minutes, and they'll go up 10. So they didn't look back from that point. So I'm happy with the win. I just wish it would have been kind of sustained from the beginning of the game to the end of the game instead of having to get into gear and have your coach kind of chew you out at halftime.
Yeah, that's like my keys to the game. We discussed it in our Downtown Deuce and Bus group chat on Instagram, which we'll attach the link in the caption. But my keys to the game were shut down Giddey and attack the paint early. They did one of those things. They attacked the paint early, the literal first possession. JD got fouled and went to the free throw line. But then Giddey was like 3 for 3 from threes. He was getting what he wanted. And that's just kind of, they were hitting from threes. I think they were 8 of 9 to end the first half. But then we also had like 20 points in the paint to 2 points of theirs. Again, we just still played our game. But eventually, they did. The Bulls do have some good pieces. I am someone that I do like Jalen Smith. He kind of has individually good games. I think he needs to get a little stronger, a little more aggressive, and just have a little bit more consistency. But he was on tonight. Giddey was on tonight. And I think, they're going to figure out their guard situation. They're going to be making a lot of offseason moves, but they do have some talent that was surrounded by the right people and with some cohesion and consistency, they can be good. But yeah, their defense, they had some good stops at the rim, I will say, but our defense definitely
they did
theirs. And I do agree.
That back and forth sequence of 4 blocks.
Yes.
And
crazy. Before that, it was 2 blocks. There were a couple before that because Cade had a block, and then Buzelis had a block too, like a little bit earlier, a few possessions earlier. So that was fun. But I do agree. You brought up the point of how, they kind of emphasized, I think, perimeter defense after they were sinking threes. But then these guys had multiple clear lanes to the rim multiple times. JD had an amazing game. He finished well. I thought his defense, not his rebounding, not his scoring, but his defense in the first half, I didn't love it. Like he was at the rim and he waited too long to shut down people. But I mean, that was kind of on everyone. There was not a lot of communication. But as
that was what's missing.
That's when I'm like, oh, I want Stu here, because like Stu would stop the guys going in the paint a little bit. But then Duren kind of flipped the switch in the second half, like most of them did, and played better defense overall. So
yeah, that was my other point too. When I just took a look at the depth chart for the Bulls and then looked at their front court, I'm like, okay, y'all gotta dominate the paint.
Yeah,
y'all gotta dominate the paint this game. The Bulls' big men were Nick Richards and Gershon Yabusele, who I think is a good player, Yabusele. But I was expecting a full grill of barbecue chicken in this game, boss. Just come out early in this game, set the tone in that paint, make your presence felt, dominate, especially with JD being well rested, right? He hasn't played in the last 2 games, and Paul Reed is still there too. And they did that. I thought they did that very, very well. We'll get into the box scores later, guys. But as far as the paint points, the Pistons had 68 to their 38. So they did exactly what I hoped they would do. And the rebounding was 50 to 44. So it wasn't that huge of a margin, but they did, I felt, for the most part, dominate the glass tonight. But that was what I was hoping to see. But I liked, too, just the unselfishness they played with in that first half.
Yeah.
It was a lot of player movement, a lot of ball movement in the half court. But you could tell, at least I could tell, I felt like the time off that they had, getting back into the gym, post All-Star break, those days of practice, I felt like that helped them. It helped their off-court, their half-court offense, because it just looked more fluid. It looked way more fluid. Like guys knew what they're supposed to be doing. And once the bench starters, shout out to whoever came with that name, bench starters came in, we saw the pace really pick up with their intensity defensively. I love that. And we saw some 9-to-5, boss. Saw some 9-to-5. Saw some Ausar with Ron. Thought that was cool. That could be a nightmare, by the way, for teams, man. So I just, like, we're not going to see a ton of that. I don't think, like, long spurts, I think, with those two, because it kind of just limits your spacing and your shooting. But I think in spurts against certain matchups and teams, you can kind of deploy that just to get a burst of energy, and they brought that tonight for sure. So any more thoughts on that?
No, I'll just that last point you made, I just want to say I think he'll probably utilize it in the way that he uses Stu and Duren together at times. It would be a good idea to utilize Ron and I know you want the starting, but just if this is how it is going forward, that's just how I can see him doing it that way as well. And like you said, I think when it's a perimeter shooting team, that's the exact kind of combination I think you should go with to slow them down.
I agree. But it was nice to see it. It was nice to see it because I was wondering how much we're going to see this year, just because we know neither of those guys can really spread the floor consistently or haven't yet. So whenever I see it, I get excited because I just want to see defensively what the ceiling could potentially be with those two on the floor. We saw it. So we'll get into that for sure.
That's like I kind of have a point about that, but I'll save it for when we get to Ausar because it's more him directed.
Okay. All right. Bet it up. Guys, let's go ahead. Let's get to this poll real quick. Let's see what this poll how this played out. So who do you guys think should get the belt tonight? Boss, who do you think they win with? JD, Cade, Tobias, or P. Reed?
I think you guys went with JD because he did have a resounding return to the team, I believe.
You would be correct. JD has 68%. Cade is at 19%. Paul Reed is at 10%. And Tobias Harris is at 4%. So good on you. All right. So let's get to some box scores, guys. Let's start with Cade Cunningham, our superstar player. Tonight, he finished with 18 points on 7 for 16 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, and 13 assists. Was 1 rebound shy that tripped up. Only 1 turnover. So 13 assists to 1 turnover for a 13 to 1 assist to turnover ratio. And he also had 1 steal and 4 blocks for 4 stocks. Just ridiculous two-way play, man. In 30 minutes of play. So, guys, and boss, I'll let you start off. What did you see tonight from our superstar player, point guard?
I mean, I saw what we know of from Cade. Obviously, it wasn't a 42-point game for him. I'm so mad he was so close to a triple-double. It feels like it's been forever since he's had one, even though he's obviously capable. He's one of those guys that, like, it wouldn't surprise. Like, any night he can get one, I think.
Yep.
But just some plays I noticed from him in the second. Chicago went on a 10-0 run, and he ended that with a contested 3 and then got a block on defense.
Yep.
So just impactful plays when they need it most. That's what we know that he can do. In the fourth, he had that block on Giddey at the rim. Just really highlighting his, 3 blocks and one
He's like
steal.
sneaky. He's so sneaky athletic, man.
No,
He doesn't
I
always
know.
show it.
Yeah, and Cade's, I'm sure you guys saw it too, but Ant won yesterday after hitting 40 points, and they asked him about it. And
Yeah.
what he said was that he saw that Cade got 40 points, so he had to get there too. And we'll talk about
Isn't
it
that
later.
funny? Real quick, isn't that funny? Like how you're hearing other guys talk about what Cade is doing.
Well,
that's a new thing now. That's never happened before like that on this level. Go ahead.
The way that JB was talking to him in the All-Star game, like calling him Ant, like I know that's his name, but like I don't know, the way that he was calling him up, it seemed like they all enjoyed their time together in the All-Star at the All-Star game. But also, and we're gonna talk about it later, hopefully, if we have time, which we should. But in Cade's GQ interview, he mentioned that he thinks that he's the best American. And I don't think Anthony takes that like personally, but he's going to make it a competition, a friendly competition. So it could have stemmed a little bit from that. Like, oh, well, I had to check on that too. But again,
they asked Ant post All-Star game when he won the MVP if he thought he was the best player. And he said, yeah. So it's cool. Like it ain't even a thing. It's just like, that's how you're supposed to feel. But go ahead.
There's debates for both. Obviously, there's a little bit of Pistons lean towards Cade and Wolves lean towards Edwards, but I can see both cases clearly. But again, 3 blocks, like 4 stocks, and but 3 of them were blocks. Like from a point guard, usually when you see that, you would assume there are more steals. But no, it's Cade Cunningham getting to the rim, which he does.
Yeah. Organic said Cade deboed Wu's name. He's Mr. What You Need coach now. He was tonight, bro. We got a few of those guys like that. Shout out to Chris if you're here. But go ahead, boss.
Yeah, but I mean, again, 13 assists to 1 turnover too, guys. We ended the game with 14 turnovers. That's pretty. I think that's average or a little bit below NBA average. Like it's our second game in a row too of keeping turnovers low. So that's a great trend. But to have again 13 assists like that with 1 turnover against a team that can be handsy. And again, their turnover rate was high. Chicago had 23, but I think George Blaha said I think they have 49 turnovers total in the last 2 games. They're just definitely getting used to their new players still. But it always feels nice to have a floor commander out there, when you got him, like Cade.
Exactly. Totally agree, man. Yeah. You know how I knew he was feeling good tonight, boss?
Mm-hmm. How?
When I saw him pin Colin Sexton's shot off the glass that you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He tried to take him 1-on-1, right? Tried to go baseline, up and under scoop, Cade pinned it off the glass, right? And he followed that up with another one at the rim. So I knew he was feeling good when I saw that because like I can always say, I know he's feeling good physically and he's into the game when he's making plays defensively. When he's involved and active and moving his feet and getting physical with you without fouling and swatting shots and barking and telling you about it, that's how you know he's locked into the game. The shots falling, of course, but that's always been my barometer is defensively. How does he look, right? And if he's doing that defensively, offensively, he's going to be pretty good too. So that was great to see from jump. Offensively, he was good though too. He was good. He pushed the pace. His 3 ball is coming back. He's taking a lot more of them now. He's got more confidence in it. He had 2 in the first few minutes of the game. So I just feel like also he's become so much more aggressive with his own offense, like looking to get his own. In the past, we would see him look to defer a lot, which is not a bad thing, right? But he has an offensive bag as well. So it's like he's a huge threat on the court as a scorer, right? He's a matchup nightmare. So I just like that he's looking to be more aggressive with his own offense and then making plays off of that as opposed to always looking to make the pass when the defense, assuming it's going to come, right? You know what I mean? So it's just a mindset thing. So that was great to see. It's crazy how quietly he scores though. Like he's one of the quietest scoring superstars I feel like in the league. Where it's like, and Cade's got 14. It's like 14. I'm thinking he had like 7 or 8, but he just does it so quietly. He just gets the job done. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just want to compare too because there were talks. I don't know if it was last year or the year before because Giddey is pretty high in the league in assists. He's a good point guard. There were talks of whether Giddey, and Cade are on the same level for a few years there. How people compared. Giddey did finish more points tonight, but he only had 3 assists. It also just kind of shows how, their passing kind of just slowed down. Like Giddey had 27 points because he was their lead scorer. While Cade, even when he gets 42, he gets up there in assists too. Like he really does it all. And as a point guard, what more can you ask? And like you said, it's a little bit quiet sometimes. His 3 this month has been so clean. It's been so nice. It's been very much more reliable than it has in previous games in the first half of the season. So if that keeps up, I mean, he only shot 3 of 6, but it felt like he made all of those the way he was shooting the 3.
For sure. Smooth operator. It says organic. That's hilarious. Yeah, bro. He just makes it look easy, man. So it was just nice to see him. And it's nice to see him now. He's a superstar now, right? He's one of those guys now. So I think he understands that, and he's trying to actively make sure that he's playing like that when it comes to how he's playing the game and approaching the game, and not being afraid to make mistakes, just going out and playing your game and just letting it come to you. So maybe it's so quiet, his scoring, because he doesn't get a good whistle. Like, maybe that's why, because we don't see him at the line getting, like, I don't know, but it's just so crazy how quietly he does it. He just goes about his business. He doesn't bark, doesn't, all this crazy stuff. He just goes and gets it done. So I love that about his game. I thought he played great. He's always looking to push the pace, to encourage, the style of play we want to do. Off misses, off makes, he's always trying to push it. So yeah, he played a great floor game again. The 13-1 is ridiculous. That's just ridiculous, man. For everybody, like, he has completely quieted the doubters about him being a point guard or not. Last year we heard, 9-10 turnovers in a game. That's not great and all these different things. Is he actually a point guard? Let's slide him to the 2 or slide him to the nah, bro. Like, this year he has quieted all that noise. He's had so many games this year where he's protected the ball very, very well and has had ridiculous assist rates. So I just hope that there's no more noise about that, because he's put that all to rest in my mind. So.
Absolutely. Agreed.
All right. We'll leave it there, boss. Let's move on now to Duncan Robinson. Tonight, guys, Duncan Robinson finished with 17 points on 5 for 12 overall, 5 for 10 for 3. So he took 10 threes, 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover in 24 minutes. What did you see from Duncan Robinson tonight?
Man, 17 points is great. Usually when, he's hitting his threes, he's closer to 9, 12, but 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists is huge. I don't, again, if you're shooting 50%, shoot 10 threes. I don't care. It felt like he made most of his. I don't know if they just I think they came mostly timely, especially in the third or in the fourth when the Bulls kept trying to get close. He would kind of end the runs. He had a couple there. In the third, he hit a 3 at the offensive possession, and on defense, he flew in and knocked a defensive rebound out of, I think it was Nick Richards' hands, like at the rim, guys, like jumped up and it's like, nope. And then it ended up getting it up court fast for a Tobias 3. Like, it's the effort. He didn't record a steal, but I almost count that as a steal because he flew in for that. Like we talked about a few games ago, how sometimes, I forgot what team it was. Maybe it was the Wizards, where they were running in with their guards or just getting offensive rebounds over us. And now here's Duncan Robinson taking that risk to go grab that and make sure that we get possession back and they don't get an offensive rebound. He literally took another that's taking points off the board when you have Nick Richards under the rim, or maybe it was Jalen Smith, one of those guys, but that's, taking it off the board because it would just gone right back in.
Yep. So. Yeah. It's just the effort. It's just the effort we all talk about, right? That we didn't see at the beginning of the year, the awareness, the offensive awareness, know what he's supposed to be doing. That wasn't there. It's definitely there now. Doing all the little things, man. I thought he did a lot of those same things you mentioned. He guarded very well without fouling guys. Yeah. For some turnovers tonight, challenged shots at the rim, stayed in front of his man. I mean, he did everything you want him to do. He wasn't getting hunted out by anybody. Not that they're a great offensive team, but you didn't see those guys trying to find mismatches using, going at Duncan Robinson. So I just love how locked in he is to the team defensive aspect. He's not really a weak link right now, right? Maybe it's a matchup thing, but I just like the effort. If we keep getting this effort, because the first half, he really couldn't find a shot, right? He wasn't knocking down threes in the first half. Yeah. But the defense is what stood out. And then the second half, he kind of got warm and knocked down some shots, but the defense sustained, right? So if we get that from him for the rest of the season, I'll be very happy with Duncan Robinson. Yeah, he didn't have a quiet 17. Most of them in the second half.
Like Camille said, he had 0 points in the first half, actually. And I was just looking at it because 17 on 5 of 10 from 3 means that he also he was 5 of 12, which means that, and he made 2 free throws. So he didn't even get a basket that wasn't a 3. But the effort is there. But I also want to point out, like, usually Duncan is playing closer to 30 minutes like Cade, and he got 17 points in 24 minutes. Yeah, so it was efficient in the way that he was out there, and you noticed him, and so you also obviously noticed him on the other end as well. But yeah, like you said, the effort is just there, and he doesn't he finds his shots, he spaces the floor well. He does a lot of things that also I think just go a little bit unnoticed. But yeah,
and then too,
good game from Duncan.
The 2 free throws he got was when he put the ball on the floor and drove past Giddey, got him in the air. So he is still doing that as well. Even if it's not ending up resulting in points, he's still trying to be a threat as far as off the catch. If they're pressing too hard, try to get into the paint, make something happen. So yeah, just doing a lot of little things for sure. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely throws other teams off when you got Duncan Robinson driving in the basket. You'd pick maybe all other 4 guys on the court to do it before he does. So
very good point.
I think he makes the right decisions of when to do it as well. You don't see him coming off of the free throw line, or sorry, the 3-point line for no reason. He does it when he feels like he can get it done.
Yep, exactly. So good game from Duncan, I thought for sure. Pretty efficient in 24 minutes too. So, all right, guys, let's keep it pushing. Let's go to Ausar Thompson, boss. Tonight, Ausar Tasmanian Thompson finished with 8 points on 4 for 12 overall, all of 1 from 3. No free throws, 3 boards, 8 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 3 steals in 32 hefty minutes. Boss, what did you see from Tasmanian Thompson tonight?
I didn't realize he played 32 minutes. That's the most of everyone.
I didn't either.
Crazy. I mean, 3 steals. I feel like I gotta look at the disruptions in that.
I feel like it was 4 or 5.
Exactly. I thought it was another 5-6 game for him.
Yeah.
I mean, Tobias actually recorded the most steals with 4, which we'll get to. But when you mentioned Ron and Ausar on the floor together, it made me think. I had a question in the first quarter, and I was like, were they encouraging Ausar Thompson to take shots away from the rim? Because his first few shots he had a 3. His first shot was a 3. And then his first couple shots were mid-range. And they didn't go in. I think all of his points came at the rim for him. But I wonder if they were kind of like, this is a team that, you can shoot over. So I was just wondering if that was a him decision, if they were like, hey, yeah, sorry, like, why don't you just, try it out tonight? 'Cause we haven't seen him take those shots before. We haven't seen him take it, not before, but lately.
No, yeah. So I would imagine they're probably encouraging him to take the shot when it's there. I mean, that's, Fred Vinton is here for a reason, not just for him or any individual guy, but he's, the goal is to get him to a respectable jump shot. Right? But the only way to really practice or simulate it is to do it in game. Right. So I would imagine they probably encouraged him, if it's there, take it. I mean, he had a couple that didn't look great tonight. One of them just caught backboard, but they're probably just still saying, get the confidence up by shooting it. Just continue to shoot it when it's there and not having us playing 4-on-5 on offense. So you could be right about that.
Yeah. And so maybe they told him, maybe they didn't. I did think that the shots he took were good ones. He wasn't forcing anything up. But I was just curious because I just noticed it, He had that really nice no-look pass to Cade. That was fun. That was fun.
Nice. He looked at the last second. He tried to do it. Yeah. But he was like,
but he made sure. But he looked away long enough to give Cade.
Oh, in real time? Yeah, I'm talking slow motion. Yeah, in real time. Right.
In real
at
time,
his speed, there's no way. No, you're done.
Exactly, and that's another thing is like to go to King's argument too that he brought up. If he does develop he doesn't really run to the rim himself hard. If he does develop that game, that's going to open up way more assists for him because that means that teams are going to have to collapse on him, a little harder, a little bit more if they think that he's just going to take it all the way. So once he develops that too. But again, I have no issues. He had 2 turnovers on 8 assists tonight. I mean, 8 assists is incredible in itself. It's the second most. It's the second most. Cade had 13, Ausar had 8, and then everyone had 2 or less. So Ausar was a big part of our play creation tonight. Yeah. But also in the second, he had that pretty drive in reverse. And that was like the last possession of the second for us, last offensive possession. And then the third, he had that inbound pass steal to Ron, the cut and dunk. They like moved to JD because JD had just dunked. And then you come back, you see Ron dunking. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, like Ron, like look at him out there. But that was when you saw the 9-5, like Ausar stole it and gave it to him. Ron was able to, turn around and cut in for that. So they looked nice out there together. But Ausar was a lot of fun tonight. He was getting frustrated. I saw at the end, they were kind of like trying to get him to chill out. I think it was just, he felt that I personally appreciated that the refs kind of laid off their whistle tonight. There were a few things that were obvious on both ends.
I wasn't mad at it.
Both ends. Kick balls, jump balls, out of pushing, jersey grabbing.
I like when they let them play, though. That's just me.
Exactly. And it's just like, I'm sure the Bulls are like, you're going to let the Pistons, like against the Pistons is when you let us play, the team that you just call for the most foul calls in the league. So, but it worked out. It was fun for everybody, I feel like. But him and
Yep.
Cade too, since we already mentioned them. Cade had a trip, like slipped or got tripped. I didn't see the
I saw
replay, so I
that.
don't know if he was actually tripped or not.
Yeah.
But then
He just stepped on
Ausar
his back
had a
with his foot.
collision. Ausar had a collision, and like we were just talking about Ivey's injury all day. So my breath just like stopped in those moments. But they're both good.
Oh,
Both
me
good.
too. Me
So,
too.
but
Yeah,
I
that
woke up like, whoo,
that
no.
Ausar one collision reminded me of when, if you guys remember, this is when Monty Williams was still coach. We were beating the Knicks. We were up, and there was a no call. DiVincenzo dove into Asar's legs, and they didn't call anything.
That was
That's
the
what
one
that looked
time,
like to me tonight.
that was
The one time
whenever
you was with Monty, you was rocking with Monty.
the one time I saw Monty have emotion. Like when I think
Yeah.
about Monty, he was just a statue. But that was the one time that he had he emoted on the court and in the post game presser. And I was like, oh, this guy does have passion. And then we never saw it again.
Man, we never saw it again, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad Asar was okay, because I was like, come on, bro. Like, what do we do?
Yeah, I was like, this is the last thing we need from.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good game overall. It was some ups and downs. To start the game, he left Giddey open twice, and he helped off of Giddey twice on back-to-back threes. Like, bro, like, why are you hedging so far? Like, just play straight up. But he left him open. So that was a little bit concerning for me. But after that, that was pretty much it as far as defensive mistakes that I saw. But he made some really good plays, man. I like the quick steal after the Pistons missed shot to get around that easy dunk, right? That was nice. And then I call it the above the rim type steal, where you Pistons score and he turns around last second and gets a steal, right? And that was for Ron to get a dunk again. So just making heads up plays, man. Heads up plays defensively. He's just doing what he always does. I think Chris said it. He always seems to get like 3 or 4 steals a game, and that seems to be the norm. And guys, I want to speak on this too, because when it comes to Ausar defensively, it's easy for us as Pistons fans to just get used to the things that he does defensively. If you want to know how good Ausar Thompson is defensively, watch him guard superstars from other teams, and then watch those superstars against other teams. Right? Watch Jamal Murray play against anybody else. He's getting 25, 10, and 5. Easy. But I think sometimes we can just kind of get used to how good he is because we see him every game. But it's really a joy to watch him defensively, man. And when I watch these other superstars against other teams, and I see how they're able to break these guys down, and that's when I'm reminded of how good Ausar defensively is, like on ball and as a team defender. He's really, really good. So I don't want that to get taken for granted because he's not a great offensive player, because we always see it. We really should appreciate what he's able to do for us on that end of the floor, because this is really impressive.
Yeah, he had a couple times where he was closing out on Giddey and like he was right on him without fouling. Like he was right there. And like maybe it would have been called a foul in another game, or no one was flopping, so I didn't see. But went, like you mentioned, he started off a little bit slow on defense of what needed to be done. And then you've talked about it before. You feel like when his defense is on, his offense is on. And it kind of, to me, he started with offensive rebounds, and that kind of got him going. Like he was good on the offensive end, good finds, good stuff. And then that translated to defense. So just a little bit in reverse today. But once, they were all called out, at least they all listened. But JB shouldn't need to, they shouldn't need to call you out. But when it is a kind of a trap game, no matter how much you want to keep it off of your conscience, maybe your subconscious a little bit like, well, we'll have this no matter what. I believe in, like, we will. Because even me, I was sitting there, I was like, why am I so relaxed? Even when we're like,
usually you be the one. Usually you be the one like texting me like third quarter if it's close at all. Like, I don't know about this one, but I never felt like this game was in doubt. Even in the first 7, like, all right, I was just waiting for them to get to their game.
To run away.
That was pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they did. Exactly. So I agree with you. Yeah. All right, guys, let's keep it pushing, boss. Let's go to Let's go to Tobias. Tobias Harris in this game, guys. Had 18 points on 8 for 14 shooting overall, 2 of 5 from 3, 6 boards, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and 4 steals, like boss mentioned, in 30 minutes. So I think that's the first time I've seen him have 4 steals in the game all year. I could be wrong, but that's very impressive. What do you like from Tobias tonight?
He's also, I don't necessarily remember him being matched up on him, but he's our 4, and their 4 is Jalen Smith. And he only ended the game with 1 foul, and Jalen had a great game. So good defense by Tobias. 18 points. I remember he had a couple of big threes in the third. Those were his only threes. Again, just to help extend the lead, not let Chicago get close again. And all of his other ones were basically back down ones. He had a nice lob. I think it got was it the one that I think like he got fouled on or something?
Yeah,
Oh no,
I think that was the one.
or
Was
they
it the
missed
one?
it and they got a rebound. But he had a nice looking lob. He didn't make any lob.
Right. On target.
6 rebounds again. That's the 4th most on the team. We've been talking about how we've noticed his rebound count going up when they're lacking size.
Yep.
So he's in there. He's just understanding again what's needed of him, and he had no problem. This to me is more of a quiet 18 than like Duncan's quiet 17. Like I know he scored. I remember the threes. I remember some of the backdown shots, but I didn't realize he got enough to shoot 8 of them, 8 of 14 for 57%. Like, just another great game from Tobias. I mean, I have my only notes were that he did hit those clutch threes in the third to just extend the lead and kind of steal the deal. Like I was like, they did make a run in the 4th, but we were able to. The way that they were playing, the way we were playing, I don't think they had a chance to really come back. So yeah, just overall a really good game from our vet.
I think Heisenberg said it. He was just steady.
Yes,
he was just steady. Like this was Tobias Harris in the flesh. This is what you expect to get from him. I mean, even the scoring output, 18 points per game. That's what I would hope to see peak Tobias on this team, right? In the playoffs, hope maybe we can get 18 points per game from something like that. But it was very just what you expect from Tobias Harris, man. I mean, he was very efficient again, took advantage of mismatches, got it done in the post. But like you said, 3 ball was rolling too. But yeah, just took good shots, got other guys involved, played big on the glass, playing bigger on the glass for reasons you mentioned with Stu not being available. So we saw really last game when JD and Stu were out, but tonight we still saw it. So that's encouraging to see because he's not the biggest guy, but he understands the assignment. He's doing what this team needs him to do. But in a game like this, especially in the first half, when we're not getting a lot of stops, when we're not getting in transition, he was important. He was important because he got a lot done in the half court in that first half to really keep the game, the offense moving, right? Because we needed it because we weren't really getting out and running in the first half.
It's like we did force turnovers on them, but they were able to get back. They had more. I remember more of their transition, especially in the 4th. That's kind of when they came back. I was like, why are we just giving them these layups, these lobs? Like, what is going on? But it was also just them. They just happened to have a guy in the back a couple times because they were like, well, whatever. It was also kind of lazy on their part that they were able to have guys back there and ready.
Agreed.
But yeah, the half court offense was needed tonight. And 18, I think we need to check because we discussed, I want to say over a month ago now, but quite a few games back, we discussed what he was giving us offensively because I was noticing that he was usually the one that got the first basket. Like they kind of did that. And he was averaging 13.7 points a game. Yeah. And so I'm curious what he is now because it feels like he's consistently giving us closer to 15 to 18.
I'll say about 14 for the season. I'll say about 14.
I think
you guys can let us know. It's definitely gone up. I agree. It's definitely gone up since we last talked about it. Yeah, for sure.
And this is exactly what we need from our vets. Tobias never has wavered. He's been another very consistent player for us. But this is exactly what we need in this half of the season where we just want to keep growing our lead ahead of teams. We just want to get in our playoff form, not give away anything easy. He's really just continued to step up in that aspect.
Yeah, shout out to Tobias, man. Another good game. He's been very, very good this year. I thought he was good last year, but I feel like even this year, now that he's had more time to settle into his role and what we need him to do, and now that we're deeper and have a better team overall, he's not asked to do too much like he's been at other stops, right? So yeah, he's very in tune with his game, with his teammates, and it's shown on the court for sure. So I love it.
Absolutely.
All right, boss. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go to JD in his return tonight, guys. Jalen Duren had 26 points on 12 for 20 overall, 2 of 5 from the free throw line. That's his only little black mark as far as the box score. Got to get that up to at least 3 or 4 to 5. I want to see 45 for 80%, but 13 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal in 29 minutes. That's impressive. What did you see from JD in his return, boss?
Yeah, I mean, I love the rebounds and that they're split again. It's 6 offensive, 7 defensive. I love that. It just means that he has a presence at both ends. Because in the first half, like I said, I did not love his defense. I felt like Jalen Smith and Yabusele were boxing him out, and when it should be reverse. I mean, those guys are big. I think they're a little bit more equal to some guys. But like JD, we know is strong and everything. But I mean, what a statement to come back. The first, get to the rim first possession, get fouled. He missed one of the free throws, but no worries. He had an offensive rebound to a slam in the first. In the second, he powered over Nick Richards a couple times, like multiple times. He went up. I think Nick Richards got a little bit of it, and then they were both fighting for the offensive rebound, and he threw it up again, and it wasn't enough. Then he got it again, and he just kept going up and up, and then he dunked it. He's like, no, this is mine to get. I just love to see that effort because, it wasn't just a little bit of a tap in. He wasn't trying to, he's like, oh, I have this guy here. Let me see if I can just draw a contact late. And like, no, like now I'm going to make sure the ball goes in the hoop, and just slammed it. Yep. I loved it. In the third, he had the pretty step and jam. I don't quite think it was a Euro step, but it was pretty. He was getting around.
Oh yeah, that was nice. That was beautiful.
Yeah, and then
froze Nick Richards.
Exactly. So I think his defense definitely picked up in the second. Great rebounding throughout, obviously 60% scoring all at the rim is awesome. Little blip in the free throws, but I'm not going to hate it. He's been clutch in free throws recently too. So, but again, for your game back. And then I loved his interview at the end. I think it was maybe in the beginning, maybe it was at the end, but I know he talked about Ivey, but he also talked about how it was just so hard for him to like not even be in the arena. He was just like, I never want that to happen again. Like he couldn't even, it was frustrating for him, all this stuff. Obviously, we still went 2-0 with him off, but it was great to have him back. And obviously the great things he said about Ivey, saying, that's my brother, that's my favorite player. And taking accountability and letting everyone know that, like Paul Reed said, like, I know coach is mad at that. And then JD confirmed it. Yeah, he was mad at that. So, so good game by JD overall.
It's real quick. It's funny how Cade loves pointing at what's his name, Jalen, for the big man what's his name? What's his last name? Jalen Smith. Cade loves pointing at him. Actually. If y'all remember when Cade dunked on him when he played for the Suns and he got ejected?
Oh, Nick Richards?
Or no, not Nick Richards. It was Jalen when he played for the Suns.
Jalen Smith did he play for the Suns?
I think he played for the Suns. Wherever he played, I know he's dunked on him before. He had a reverse dunk.
Okay.
They pointed at him, and then got ejected.
Oh.
Ejected. If anybody remembers that, let me know in the chat. But that's the second time he's done that to him. I thought that was funny. But I was just hoping.
On the Suns. Yep. Sorry. You're right.
Yeah. I thought so. His rookie year. Okay. Yeah. But I just wanted JD to see him just really impose as well. We talked about it already, and they did that. First two possessions of the game, the Pistons got it to him, right? And that told me the game plan was to just get the ball to JD in the paint, let him do what he does. These guys cannot guard him. But I liked his hustle too. It was one play in the third, I think it was third quarter. He dove to the floor and saved it from going out of bounds and started an easy dunk. That was nice. Yeah. That was nice. And from there, he just kind of took over the game. In the third quarter, he just dominated that quarter. He took it over. He just said, I'm too big for y'all. Y'all can't guard me. Y'all can't stop me. And the play you mentioned with the multiple taps, I love to see that too because it's the effort. And I forgot who I just saw a comment that hit on what I was going to say as well. Brandon said, this dude was rubbing off on Duren, right? He's rubbing off on him. And that's the thing. Like with Stu, he takes pride in that painted area. That's home for him, right? So he takes it personal when you try to post him. But when you try to box him out or when you try to score on him, he takes it personal. And it feels like JD is kind of starting to do the same thing for the most part. It's like where he's taking it personal, like this is my area, right? You're not going to score. I'm an all-star now. Y'all ain't going to score on me in here. Like this is so I just like the pride that he's taking on that end of the floor. It's always been there since the start of the season, but it seems like more and more he's starting to take pride in doing it more so than just knowing that he has to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just a different approach that I think he has now that's leading to that. But I just like how he imposed as well. He just dominated those guys who are not big enough and strong enough. And he took advantage of them.
Agreed. There's a couple of things I want to get to in the comments. There's three things. First of all, a couple of people mentioned this. Exactly. I was just saying earlier, I could see Jalen Smith on the Pistons. I wanted Smith on the Pistons. Look, honestly, because he's a 4, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think that he could buy into I think what's holding him back in Chicago is that they're not good enough to have that kind of dog. I think that he could get that out of him. So I wouldn't hate that if we brought him in as a 4 cheaply. I don't know what Chicago's going to do, but you would think they get rid of their guards first, but who knows? A couple more questions. One was, what's up with JD dropping the ball in Richard's face?
Okay, yeah. So on that, he had been grabbing JD. I'm paying attention now because we talk about JD when he's always throwing his arms up, right? Yeah. How it's like get back down. I'm often watching the ball, Like, and then I'm watching Cade, what he's doing as a point guard, just off ball
Yeah.
stuff too. But lately, I've been watching JD, like when he's boxing out for the rebound. Before it happens, I'm just watching him the whole play through, and I'm starting to see more and more why he's doing that, because he could be doing that literally every play. Every play, he's getting grabbed every play. He's getting slapped every play, and for them to not call it as much as it's like they're not calling it nearly as much as it's happening. It's crazy. I could see if it was a ratio of like he does it, like it happens 5 times and he does it 5 times. All right, cool. And then you can't do it, but like it's happening every play.
Well,
so when he's doing it, it's like he's boiling over, because it's like, what are y'all do? Like, do y'all not? So that's what happened when like he was like all on his back, and the offensive foul was called on Richards for trying to get the rebound. He was grabbing JD, and he tried to grab JD, and he fell to the floor. And JD was just disgusted by the point. Like, bro, like, he was just mad. He was done by that point, because they would be like they were backpacking him all game long.
Do you think it was intentional? Because I didn't see it.
Yeah, I do.
I just saw him throw it behind him. You think it was on him? Okay,
I do. It was on purpose.
I do agree because, but again, just like other guys on our team, and even Bickerstaff has talked about this with Cade recently, like no one's flailing. If that was Embiid and he flailed, like if JD was flailing, maybe he'd get those calls, but he's just trying to get the ball in the hoop, and that's why he gets frustrated. But also, Nick Richards, guys, is a little bit of a hothead. He's done stuff with Stu. We've seen him kicked out. I've seen him kicked out of Nuggets games. I think he got kicked out against the Pistons. I'm pretty sure. Like, he's a little, because he played for the Suns, but he's a little bit of a hothead. So I think, they were pulling jerseys. And so I think that also contributed. I'm sure there was talk. I'm sure there was other physical play before that. Yeah, okay. Richards was a part of that PJ Washington.
I didn't realize that, but until now. Yeah. But you're right. You're right, Organic. That's a great point. Okay.
I don't mind him because I think, there's certain players that I think do play physically and like that, or a little bit more dirty, but they own it. It's just a part of them. And then there's guys that play dirty and it's just like either too much or they don't own it. And that's what I don't respect.
Yeah.
I don't mind Nick Richards being that way, but I know that he can get under your skin. And I think that that was kind of a thing going on with Duren as well. So
yeah, I was just watching the few plays before that. Like it was the same thing. And I think JD was finally like, okay, you finally called a foul. And it's like, it's a bad look when you foul somebody and you're the one that falls and they don't. It just shows how powerful and how strong JD is. But I think JD just took advantage of being down there. Like, even with a foul, you can't stop me, bro. And then drop the ball. It was one of those kind of things. You know what I mean?
And then after that, he got his jersey pulled too. Like, they were just kind of going at it. But Richards, I think he's new to the Bulls too. I think at the trade deadline, right? Yeah. So he doesn't. I think he could be a spark for those guys, honestly, but he's still figuring out his way and his fit there. I think that's why he wasn't an impact yet, which is me. Yeah, and he can have good games too. He can pop off. Okay. And then if you just want to address this real quick, because someone asked it, I know we talked about it previously, but there's a couple things I know you know. What is Duren's ceiling?
Like as far as player comp? Or as far as like accolades and what he could do, like I think first of all, I think he's going to be on. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. I think he's a perennial all-star, at least because he's 22 years old. I'm gonna say at least 5-6 time all-star selection minimum. I see a few All-NBA selections in there. He could push for one this year as far as All-NBA, maybe third team, maybe right. Yeah. But I think his ceiling is whatever he wants it to be. Because there's not a lot of guys with his athletic build, his strength, and he's a smart player too, but also his defensive ceiling. Like that's what can make him really good. I think his offense is actually ahead of his defense right now. And I think that's why early on he struggled, because he wanted to show that. But JD's like, you're not going to play unless you're playing defense. Right. So I think his defense has a long way to go, and that's a good thing. Because he has a high ceiling on that end. We're seeing the offensive flashes now. We're seeing defensively he's getting better. I just think at a ceiling, he can be a top 15 player in the league at a ceiling.
Well, I'm sure lots of you guys remember my hot take of that his defense isn't great. He has room to grow, and that's just kind of where it's at right now. And so I agree. His offense, though, has for the last 4 years that we've had him, he's just slowly improved. And I think he's even shot up from last year. Yeah, he had the slow start. But now we're seeing things like at first I was nervous for him to bring the ball off the floor, but he's doing it much better. He's making decisive decisions easier. He's using his footwork more in the paint. He's, doing hook shots, turnaround fade shots. Like he's not just obviously him and Cade are Lob City, but he's doing more on that aspect as well. So his offense, I think, has already improved greatly. I think there's only better to go. I think eventually, especially because again, he's only 22. 3-4 years, I think he would have a solid mid-range shot. If that's a goal of his, if that's what they want to get him working on, I think he can have that. And then I think just the thing too, then that shot up. So I think just to balance it out with defense a little bit more, to be able to trust him, not trust him, but like see him do more Stu things. Like someone says, Stu is rubbing off of him in the paint, not letting guys just blow by, boxing out stronger, on certain plays, which again, he did in the second half. It's almost like he just needs to be reminded like, hey, just remember this end of the floor too, sometimes.
Right.
But he's hitting his, I was like, I know he can do 20-10 games. I know he can do 20-20 games, but I know he can do 20-10 games, and they're becoming more frequent as the season goes on.
What up, Tom?
Hi, Tom.
He says if JD starts making those mid-rangers more often, for Daniss, you know what's crazy? I feel like JB has kind of met him in the middle though, too. Like, give me some, show me you can play defense consistently, and I'll give you some possessions offensively. And I just saw on the Road Tripping podcast with Richard Jefferson, I think, and Channing Frye. JB was on there, and JB actually said that pretty much what they do with JD is one possession per quarter, go get your own offense. You get one opportunity every quarter, one possession offensively to go get it yourself without the help of Cade. Just go get it. I think JB is trying to meet him in the middle and keep him incentivized defensively. Even though I feel like now JD's bought into it, but I think like it's always easier to play harder when you're getting some touches. That's why Ben Wallace will get a touch early in the game to reinforce his defense, right? So I just think JB understands how to kind of play that, and I think that's a good thing for JD too, is to continue to get those touches and stay involved offensively and be able to show what he can do on his own. So I just thought that was cool to hear. But his ceiling is whatever he wants it to be, man. Like somebody said, Baby Shaq, he can be the Shaq of this day and age, right? It's because the league is totally different now, right? It's a lot less contact, so he can be that kind of guy in this day and age. I could see that for sure because he's just so big and strong and athletic.
Shaq that makes his free throws,
don't be him in that way. Don't be him in that way.
That's something that Shaq never really developed was a shot, and we're seeing Duren take those opportunities more, and we've seen him sink mid ranges. We've seen him sink turnaround fades. Like we've seen it happen. And I just do think that tonight, Jalen Smith, Yabusele and Richard's other centers, but Jalen Smith was their center for a while. He's kind of a 4-5. So I just think that he also just gave him problems. He had 3 blocks himself tonight. He had a good game. And JD, I think with these numbers, kept up with a team that kind of knew that we were going to the paint. We were still better than them in the paint. We were still able to get our paint game going, our lobs going, but they were there because they knew that's what we could do. So he did it all. He did it all very contested. Very, what he did tonight was tough. It was not an easy night for JD, I would say.
Agreed. Torch Lord says, I'd be happy with Alonzo Mourning comp. So here's my thing. Alonzo Mourning was a very good defensive player who had some offense, right? I understand why you say that, because you want him to focus on the defensive side of the basketball. I get why you're saying that. But he's got more offensive ability than Mourning had. Like he can handle the ball. Mourning wasn't really handling the ball. He was more a post guy. I think JD can be better than Alonzo Mourning. And if he stays locked in and, barring injuries, he will be better than Alonzo Mourning. And that's no shade to Zoe, because Zoe was really good. He was all-star, multiple-time all-star. But I think Torch Lord, he can be that with more offensively. But defensively, it's got to start there. And I understand why you may have went with that comp, because that was what Alonzo was. He was a defensive monster. So I feel you on that, bro. Yeah. All right, boss. We can keep it pushing. Anything else you got? Go ahead.
I need to do we're an hour. I have to just do I'm very hydrated today. Just a quick break. Do you want to check the poll? I'll be right back.
Let's do that. Go ahead. Do you think? All right, guys, let's check the poll as far as who gets the belt. We are holding steady. Jalen Duren at 69%. Cade Cunningham at 17%. And then we have Tobias Harris with 5% and Paul Reed with 8%. Yeah, Paul Reed was great tonight too, guys. We're going to get to him in a minute. Before we do that, let's go to Daniss Jenkins, because I want to get to him first, and we'll go from there. No boss is gone, but we'll go ahead and start this one for Daniss. When she comes back, she can pick up with us tonight, guys. Daniss Jenkins had 3 points on 1 for 6 shooting, 1 or 2 from the free throw or from 3-point, 2 assists, 1 turnover, in 21 minutes. So this was not a good game for Daniss Jenkins. He struggled this game. It looked like he was trying to get things going offensively, but I saw him a lot of times dribbling into the trees. Was a lot of guys in the paint ready for him. And I think a lot of his shots were kind of getting swatted, tough shots, things like that. And I would have liked to see him just kind of pull it out instead of trying to I understand he was trying to do, but it just wasn't there. They had a lot of guys at the rim defensively, and that affected his shooting. And other than that, it wasn't like he was good or bad. It just wasn't really impactful. He was kind of just out there tonight. He had 2 assists and 1 turnover, but I felt like he left a lot of meat in the bone as far as what he could have did tonight. So it wasn't one of his best games. He didn't play terrible, but he just really wasn't that impactful in this game tonight. Organic said he just got cardio. Yeah, he didn't do too much tonight. Yeah, go ahead, boss. Anything on Daniss Jenkins you saw?
Yeah, I mean, my only, note was in the 4th. He hit his 3. That was his only make of the night. Yeah, not great, but there's 3 or less games that we can say that about Daniss. So
yeah,
I'm not upset. And even when he was out there, he was out there when they made their run in the 4th, but it wasn't his fault. I just think he just couldn't find his spot in the rotation, like not rotation, but like he just couldn't. I mean, even usually when he's low on scoring, he's higher in assists. But again, like I said, like Cade had 13 and Ausar had 8, and everyone else had 2 or less. So it's just a couple of things that just didn't didn't go his way.
Yeah.
But not worried. I did like at the end, I think, what was he? The last possession, we were just dribbling it out to end the game. And I think it was Sexton or someone was like on him. And he's like, bro, what are you could tell his face. He's like, what are you doing? Because he started like, come at me. I'm dribbling the ball out. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He's just talking, which is fair, So if anything, Jenkins brings a dog attitude, if anything. And the bench was super injured tonight. So he was there. It was good. Not a great stat line. Nothing memorable, but nothing memorable that was bad. And pop off again on Monday, I'm cool with that.
Yep. I totally agree. I'm not concerned at all, guys, about it. So I heard somebody say, is he the point guard of the future going forward? Yeah, I think so. I think he should be. He's got great chemistry with these guys. These guys like him. He's a great locker room guy. And on the court, he's been great. He's been very consistent this season. He's had a handful of games I can count on one hand how many bad games he's had all year. Right. Exactly. So yeah, just a bad game. It happens. Just couldn't catch a flow, but I think he'll be fine. Organic said he's been pretty mediocre since he got the contract. People have scouting reports and footage on him now. Gotta adjust. That's all it is. I don't think it's a contract thing at all, bro. The last part I totally agree with. In the beginning of the season, he kind of shot out of a cannon because nobody had really seen him. Nobody paid attention to him. So you're right. There is more footage, and there's they can scout him a little bit differently. We're seeing him get more media push, more media attention. He's getting shown, segments on him before these games, on these national games, right? So he's getting more attention, and people are starting to see what he's doing. They're starting to do their homework on him now. So he's just got to adjust. He still hasn't played half a season of meaningful basketball games in the NBA level. So yeah they got to adjust to him, and now he's got to adjust to their adjustment. So he'll be fine. He's too good of a player to not bounce back. I'm not worried at all. Yeah, exactly. Even NBA, like when we're have a national game and they'll post about it, he's always included in their carousel on Instagram. Like one of his plays is always included. So if if people haven't heard of Jenkins yet, it's almost like, why not? Exactly. Unless you're the 3 teams we have yet to play this year, which are coming up, which is the Spurs, OKC, and the Timberwolves. Unless you're those 3 teams, you should know who Daniss is. And the Bulls, kind of picked up on it. I'm pretty sure he was a big factor in our second game against them, second or third game. He was in the game. He was in the during crunch minutes. Yep. So these guys know him. Exactly. Yeah, he was a big part of the. I think him and Cade. That was the first time I think I saw him and Cade playing together in big moments, and he delivered for sure. So they probably, like you said, did their homework and figured out how to try to adjust to him. So I'm not concerned at all. All right, boss. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go to Caris LeVert tonight, guys. Tonight, Caris had 7 points on 2 for 7 shooting overall, 1 or 2 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 blocks for Caris in 18 minutes, right at that number we'd like to see him at, boss. What did you see from Caris LeVert? Gosh, if you guys are, a LeVert hater and you look at that stat line, you'd come in here being like, see, LeVert. But if you watch the game, that's not how you react. Right. So I just want to say, and I know one of his turnovers was one of these plays, but LeVert has
a gift for finding guys when he himself is under the rim or behind the basket.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a couple games now that he has been able to drive it to the basket, make defense collapse on him, and get it to an open guy a foot away. Like he right now, it was just looking so nice. And I just want to call that out because it felt like early in the season, he would pick up his dribble maybe at the free throw line.
Yeah.
And then that's when he would make a bad assist. But
Yep.
his assists under the basket or behind the basket have been incredible. He had a one play, I'm going to call this out. It was started by Cade. Cade was at the top of the paint. It was almost a botched play. I think they got their fingers on it. Cade grabbed it, top of the paint, got it to LeVert, who was under the rim, who then got it to a cutting B-ball Paul.
Yep.
For the dunk. I just love that play because then right after that one was the the Ausar Thompson no look. But in the first quarter, he had a block from the behind the back. I think they gave him a block, right? You mentioned
he had a few blocks in this game.
Yeah, 2 blocks. Okay, I just want to make sure because that one I think it was him and B-ball there, and I was like, I think LeVert got that, so I gave it to him.
Oh, him and Ausar. That was what led to Ausar's no look pass.
Okay,
Ausar double blocked it. Yeah,
so that was right
sprinting.
After, that was right after his assist to Reed. Then, so it was all kind of connected. He the Bulls had to take a timeout after that. I think it was after that one or a few possessions later, and he got a steal right out of it. Just like, nope, kill that momentum.
Exactly.
Just had great defense in the first. Like he was disrupting on every pass. I don't think he recorded a steal, but he was. That's surprising to me. I think he's gonna have a steal by the end of the time.
You think so? Okay.
Because he was. I mean, that was when they were just. That was when the Bulls had like 4 or 5 possessions in a row where they were turning it over. It was either Ausar, Ron, or LeVert. So maybe it was just LeVert disrupting and Ron getting it or Ausar getting it. But LeVert was in there. And then in the third, he had that really nice and one. He sunk a 3. He was 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 7 overall. But some of those, just some mid-range.
He didn't shoot well. But it's just like, go ahead, finish.
But he did get that and one, and he got the 3 later in the game. And this has kind of been the trend with him is that he won't be hot from shooting right away, but he won't continue to do that. He'll just turn it into other things like assists. And then when he has the opportunity again, he tries it and it tends to work. Like he got that 3 late, and I don't think he's really had another opportunity to shoot again. I'm pretty sure his last shot was that 3 that went in. So maybe it's just something about warming up a little bit, and that just might just factor into how he is improving slowly with us. It feels like he's, again, 5-6 games in a row now that he's been good. And so, but he's not making bad decisions. And again, I'm just really impressed with his assists when he drives to the basket, because now teams are going to have to figure that out, because he's either going to make the layup or he's going to give it away. So what do? Do you double him?
Exactly.
Or do you just try to stop it at the rim? So
yeah, but that's the difference, because early on in the season, many were just upset with his shot selection and his turnovers. But those were the 2 things. It's like, that's why he was called careless. All these, that was why. So now those turnovers are turning into assists. And that just tells me he's finding his place in this offense, which just meant he needed more time. He's new. We've said it about the other free agents who come here in the offseason, right? When at the start, it was tough for all those guys in previous years. Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, all those guys kind of started off slow. Can't just drop him in and expect him to be impactful right away. So I think with him, he's just understanding his role now. He's understanding these guys. He knows the offense. He's getting reacclimated to JB Bickerstaff. So I think that's the biggest difference. It was never the defense with him, even when he wasn't playing great offensively in the beginning with with those who were critical. When I was critical earlier, it's like it was never he's just letting guys get by him. He's blowing assignments defensively. There's no resist. It was never that. The defense has always been there. So now the offense is starting to catch up. And once we get to the playoffs, he's going to be even better, in my opinion. Go ahead.
And he is playing off ball with Cade and Jenkins. And yes, he's had opportunities to do that before, but Jenkins either wasn't playing or he would be in with Ivey, and both of them, neither one of them were point guards. When we mentioned this multiple times, but like when he's playing off of someone, it seems to work better. Even if he does have to be the main ball handler a few times, I feel like that pressure of not having to do that, or not even pressure, but just it fits him better. And he is only human. Some people, they can adjust right away. We've talked about the difference in Ron and Ausar's growth and how I think both of those guys have different learning styles. LeVert, was not doing back-to-backs for a while. He had vertigo. He was just a little bit struggling
There's a lot
with the jumbled lineups and not knowing. And then, so I think it's just a little bit of that too, of like, settling in and be like, okay, like I am here for the rest of the season. I understand my role. Him and JB had an interview a few weeks back where they both kind of reiterated how he's here to help in the playoffs as someone who has experience in the playoffs. And so I think he's just becoming more comfortable. And did it take a little bit more time? Yeah. And like you mentioned, THJ and B started off slow. They picked it up a little faster than LeVert has, but these are when it matters most. So this is when I'm most thrilled to see him. These games,
I agree.
Again, like we've maintained a good first place lead. I don't see us losing it, but these games are important just mentally. We have tough games coming up against West teams and East teams.
Yep.
We're approaching that level. And so, this is exactly when you'd want to pick it up. Like you were talking about how you want, when it was about Ivy, like I want to wait till March. And so if that's the same standard for LeVert for you, then you would have positive things to say. You'd have positive to say that where he is, we have another week till March, but where he is now, if that keeps going, you'd be like, well, he's definitely better. And that's what you've been wanting. So
no, that's a great point. That's why we don't, make any decisions, 10, 15 games, 20, 30 games into a season. You got to give these guys time to gel. Heisenberg said it too. Heisenberg said, everyone's settling comfortably into their role. We really became a cohesive unit. That's the thing. And Tara says we were all over THJ last season. We were. A lot of people. First of all, he was playing out of position. He started off the season playing the 3 because Ausar was out with the blood clot. So he had to play the 3. He was playing out of position, and it was hard for him. Going up against a guy 2 or 3 inches taller every night, 20, 30 pounds every night, that's tough. That takes out your legs. That's why you're not going to shoot great. So when Ausar comes back and he's back at the 2, that's why you see a correlation there along with the reps he was getting.
And he was mentally a bit of, a vet that brought in and understood the situation of a team that is trying to flip their seasons around. And they did. Now he's in Denver, and I'm very lucky that I still get to see him. But you can tell there's almost like a little bit more of a relaxed, like he's off the bench. He comes in, does his job. And I do want to say last night he hit his 2000th career.
What is it? Because he's top 20, I think now.
Yeah. Like 2000
ever.
Last night.
That's wild.
Number 2000.
Quietly.
And he's definitely someone that I would consider, especially if the Nuggets go far, for the 6th man of the year, because he has come in. Even when they were down people, they kept him on the bench because of the spark that he's been giving off the bench. So, and he obviously still has so much love for Detroit. He talks about him a lot and everything too. So, but it just goes to show different situations, different scenarios, and just how players are different, players are different. And when you see them in different roles and everything, how that works out. And I think LeVert was just one of those guys that really needed a little bit more consistency on, again, not back-to-backs, not feeling ill. And then it just took him a little longer, but they did admit that they brought him for late season and for playoffs. They did say
everybody doesn't progress at the same rate. Exactly. It's not always linear, right? So and that's a lot of things go into play.
That's probably why JB mentioned that, because he knows him. He knows LeVert. He's coached him before, so he probably knows what kind of learner and what kind of person LeVert is. So that's probably why he's we brought him here for later in the season, and we expect him to be. This is a guy whose career high, I know we haven't even been close to seeing it, but his career high is 51 points.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was with Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
With the Nets? Yeah. Straight bucket back then. I remember that. Yeah, man. So I thought he was solid. As long as the defense maintains, because we still haven't seen him offensively really just get loose yet. He hasn't had one of those games where he just catches a heater yet. So I'm waiting for that.
That's like I said, you can tell he's trying for that. Yeah. And since he's not going early, again, 2 of 7 still isn't even that bad, but it's not 2 of 12. He's not. Yeah. Like I said, his decision kind of shifts when he's not getting it. He's like, okay, my shot's off tonight. So that's what I can appreciate most about him. And one of these nights, we're going to see him come out and get a couple shots early. And that's going to be the game where he puts up 20 plus for us. I truly believe that. I think it's just more about he understands, okay, I don't want to harm the team. So let me change my role to creating shots for someone else.
Yeah, I agree, guys. So we'll leave it there on Caris, man. Let's keep it pushing, boss. Let's go to Ron Holland, guys. Tonight, Ron Holland finished with 9 points on 3 for 5 shooting overall, 0-2 from 3, 3 from the free throw line, 4 boards, 2 assists, 4 turnovers. Ouch. 2 steals in 17 minutes. Kind of an up and down game from Ron. What'd you see?
Well, I will say he finished with 3 fouls after he got 3 fouls in the first.
Right. A lot like Daniss last game. Seems
yeah,
like.
a lot like we've seen Cade deal with. Like these guys really do learn. And again, they don't slow down the way that they play defense or anything. But 2 of those fouls I think were questionable. Definitely the last one. I was like, what? But
yeah, I agree.
He had some good baskets. He tried 2 threes, fine with that. 3 of 5 overall is fine. Again, to be 3 of 5, that means that he made all of his shots other than the 3
in the paint or inside the 3-point line. Yep.
2 steals. Again, he just seemed like he did a little bit more than that. 4 rebounds. He made his free throws. Yeah, I can't be mad at Ron, especially just in 17 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, I think he caused a little bit of havoc, and I always like to see him go against Buzelis because they played together and they're still buddies. So that was a lot of fun. Buzelis won this round, I would say. I mean, yeah, he got 15 points and 6 blocks. Okay, Mate.
Wow. He has 6 blocks.
6 blocks and 2 steals. Yeah,
he's like 6'7". That's crazy.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a good game from Ron. I know he can do better, and he knows too. And maybe he would have had that opportunity, but still 17 minutes with 3 fouls in the first. That's still not that bad. Yeah, he's been playing closer to 21, 22. So maybe he would have. We didn't see him in the second. That was the thing. We didn't see him in the second.
Yeah.
So maybe he would have hit some digits there. But yeah, can't be mad at what he created tonight.
Organic says Ron goes from 5-hour energy to 12-hour energy when he plays my time. Yeah, it feels a little different, doesn't it? It's
but
funny.
They do have different roles.
Oh, for sure. I noticed their little rivalry on the court. Like they always want to one up each other. I noticed it was very slight, but remember the play when JD bullied Modest under the hoop and dunked on him? He got the N1. Yeah. I noticed Ron like give a little right smile to Modest, like, yeah, bro, you know you ain't big enough. What you doing down here, bro? Yeah. It was just funny. If you watch, he just gave him a little smile, like, yeah, bro, what are you doing down here? Yeah. What are you doing? So it's just, he said, Modest for telling me that's funny. Yeah. I thought Ron was effective. I won't say he was great in this game because he had 4 turnovers. Don't want to see that. No. But he was trying to play his game. I thought he was a little over anxious, not even over, just overzealous as far as how he was playing. He was trying to create turnovers, trying to get out in transition, but he had those cheapies called on him. He had like 2 or 3 fouls that just weren't great fouls because they were just bad fouls where he just reaching or trying to get a steal, trying to make too many home run plays. I felt at times instead of just playing straight up. So, sometimes he does that and he gets 4 or 5 steals in the game. Other times he's in foul trouble, right? So I just want to see him consistently just try to be a little bit more disciplined because he knows it too. The whistle will blow and he'll know it. He won't even get mad. He'll just clap his hands or he knows it. Like he knows
the last foul he did have an issue with. And I kind of agree.
That last one
but it was either one that wasn't clear or it was like, but you weren't calling that the whole time or that just happened. Yeah. There's something like that where I was like, I could see that. But we didn't challenge anything this game. So
we didn't. Yeah, we didn't really need to. I don't feel like. Yeah. But yeah, that was I thought he ran the floor well. He helped. The 9 to 5 connection, I love it, man. Like he didn't hit a 3. Nobody hit a 3 between those 2 guys. But the way they're able to help us play our game and how we want to play Hurricane Holland, I like it. Just making the offense very uncomfortable, making them uncomfortable, right? Just making them think twice, taking them out of rhythm, getting up into their space. It's just do it without fouling. Do it without. That's my only thing. Just do it without fouling. And it hasn't been a problem for most of the season. It's just certain games like this when I notice like he's really into this game. Maybe that was why. Maybe it's because he's playing against his boy, right? And they come away wanting to always get the dub and then have the better stat line. I get it. So I just want to see Ron be a little bit more disciplined, and that's pretty much all I got negative. But I thought aside from that, he was pretty good.
He only had didn't he only have 12 minutes against the Knicks? He didn't have a lot last game.
It didn't feel like he played a ton.
And that was his first game. So maybe he was just trying to be like, I want to go play my game. I just want to get back into it.
Was that his first game back? The next game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, was it? Yeah.
Or was it? You sure it wasn't the Raptors
no,
game?
No, because he flew. Because remember we were like,
right. You're right. Yeah.
So, because he was still kind of questionable, but
right.
Yeah, right. I agree. And but again, it's gonna be this kind. Ron is definitely someone that I look forward to playing on Monday. because Monday is another very young team. It's the Spurs. And so that's, when I want him to pop off. It's not like he's going in waves or anything. He still is consistent. But, yeah, the 4 turnovers weren't great.
Yeah.
But he knows not to do that again, too. So,
yeah, he'll work on it. He's still a second-year guy. He's still learning. It's just – it's just something we point out because we see it. But we're not concerned about that at all with Ron. Ron's going to be just fine. Boss, let's go to Javonte Green. Can you woo? Tonight, guys, Savage Woo had 2 points on his only field goal attempt, 3 boards, 1 assist. I'll leave the fouls for you in 16 minutes. So he didn't play a ton tonight, but what did you see from him when he was out there?
Well, for the fouls, no fouls. 16 minutes. I mean, that's more than he has been playing. I feel like he's been closer to the 13-minute range lately. Not really sure why. Yeah. The last 2 games, he hasn't played that much.
That's it, huh? Okay. Feels like he's played more than that. Okay. All right.
Not since the All-Star break. It really has been a little bit more cut down. But, again, you would look at this and you'd be like, okay, whatever. But for 2 of 1 of 1, great. But in the second, his point was his basket was Jenkins missed a 3 and he saw a lane.
Yeah.
He flew in from not just like the perimeter, like the top of the perimeter, the farthest away you could on the perimeter to grab that dunk and get it in. And then he hustled in the second. He hustled to grab a loose ball to save a Bulls fast break. And it got Duren to dunk. We had turned it over, or almost turned it over. They had 3 guys. It would have been 3 guys on Woo. And Woo, I mean, he sprinted for that loose ball, was able to get it, and it led to the Duren dunk because everyone had already shifted this way and he was down there. Like, that is hustle. And, like, the rebound's great. Surprised he didn't really have any stocks. Again, good defense if you're in there and not fouling, even though they were pretty light on the whistle tonight. So just, like, the hustle. You just tell that he's out there and he's making – especially that play, because that was – at the second, and yes, we did take off in the second half, but that was towards the end of the second when we were only up by 3. Like, we're trying to close out strong, and he just did not let the Bulls have that easy. There's a lot of NBA players that would have just, and even a couple on our team, like to hustle like that, because that was a near. I mean, it was barely did he get there in time to make sure that they didn't have a fast break. He erased points from them and gained points from us just from that one play. And for that was the most memorable thing for me, and why I think that was impactful to close out the second half.
You pretty much like read verbatim or said verbatim or like what I had in my head, because my word for him was hustle. The 2 plays you mentioned were the 2 plays I was going to mention. So yeah, I totally agree. Another point I'll make is just how unselfish of a player he is. Like, he's not looking to score the basketball when he's on the court. Right. He had 2 points on 1 shot. It wasn't like he took 4 shots, 1 of 4. Like, he doesn't care if he doesn't score. I always say it, but going back to when admins asked these guys if they know what their career high in points is in their highest scoring game, he doesn't even know. He's like, I don't know, but I'm here to play defense. I don't care about offense. So he doesn't even care about really getting the basket. He doesn't need touches. He's just trying to help this team do what it does best, which is create turnovers, get stops, and get out in transition. If he's able to do that in the game, if he takes 0 shots, he's happy. If we get a dub, he doesn't care. And it's interesting because it's not like he's a limited offensive player. Like, he can put the ball in the hoop. He can score. He can shoot. But if he goes the whole game with no shots attempted, like he only had 1 tonight, and we win, he doesn't care. But the beauty of it is that he still can score. He still can shoot. So I just like how unselfish all these guys are, because Ron's the same way. A lot of these guys don't even really care about that. They're like, are we helping our team win? So he's one of those guys, and that's why he's Mr. What You Need, Coach. Shout out to Chris.
Yeah, I would say tonight he's Mr. Hustle for sure. But also, when he's not on the floor, he's always on the bench cheering and clapping. That's another thing I love. Good point. Tonight. Even Greg Helser pointed out, like, they were just in it. And he's always one of them, whether it's, his hand, he does this, or he's cheering, or he's just always clapping. Like, he's always up. And it's just something that, that we kind of lost with Beasley last year. Beasley was our hype guy. They talked about what a great locker room guy he was. And to bring in, I mean, all of these guys are great locker room guys, but to then bring in another vet like that and for him to just embrace it all. Again, he took, 1 shot, 2 points. He got almost nearly 17 minutes, like, hustling out there. Like, he cares, and he makes an impact on these guys. Just a Mr. Consistent, as I call him, and he's just a great vet for all these guys. And that hustle play too just shows, like, like that's not Ron Holland. That's not 21-year-old Ron Holland sprinting towards the ball. That's like 31-year-old Javonte Green against a very young Bulls team getting there. So
no, it's funny because Devon says Green is this year's Paul Reed, third string surprise guy that will hopefully resign for another good contract. I agree. And just like Paul Reed, I think he will, because you said it before. He's looking for a home. He said that, and he fits this team like a glove. This team's identity on the court, this team's vibe off the court, like he just fits right in. All these guys seem to just fit. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about it more than anything. I think in the playoffs, he's going to be important because he's a smart player.
Yeah.
He's just a very high IQ basketball player who doesn't require anything. He doesn't need anything. You can just put him out there with any group and he'll adapt. He'll make plays because that's he doesn't need shots. He's not going to drop his head. He doesn't need shots to stay engaged, defensive, like none of that stuff. He's just like, what do you need me to do? Who do I got? Okay, cool. I got it. And he's got it. And he can hit shots for you. He can just do a little bit of everything pretty well. And that's the kind of guy you want in your second unit for sure.
And he's always in it. Like he's able to sprint to loose balls. He's able to clean up dunks and find a lane because he's aware. He's just very just aware of what's going on. It just shows, and that just goes into IQ, but also just staying in the moment, not getting distracted, making sure that you are, taking advantage of your minutes on the court by truly staying focused and locked in. And so whatever happens next, you can, predict that or make the next move. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't foul. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's not one of those guys. He's just there to help either if he has it, to get the job done or to help everyone else get the job done. So, I love
Javon says this team has so much championship potential. You can see it if you've been watching ball for a minute. Yeah, like more and more, this team is reminding me of the 02-03 team. Right. And who knows, man, it could be the 04 team. Maybe I'm not giving this team enough credit. Like from experience standpoint, I'm thinking they need another year to actually win it, but who knows? But I see 2002, 2003 when we went to the conference finals and lost to the Nets. That's kind of where I see us right now. I think this team talent-wise is at least on par with that team. From 1 to 12, 1 to 15, I think this team is right there. And they're playing the same way. So, I love what I'm seeing, boss.
Exactly.
All right, we'll leave it there. Let's go to our, second to last guy tonight, guys. B-ball, Paul Reed tonight, guys, had 15 points on 7 for 11 overall, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, 9 boards, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and a block of 2 stocks in 19 minutes. Efficient minutes, boss. What'd you see from B-ball, Paul?
Yeah, just to do this off the bench again, so close to a double-double himself. He had some mistakes. He had some things that I was like, oh, come on, B-ball. This was, again, another kind of quiet 15 and 9. But it's just so impactful as he always is. Even when he has what I feel was like a slow start, a slower game, he's still putting up 15 and 9 and getting a block and a steal. In the first, he had a really nice Euro step basket, like super nice.
That was pretty.
And then in the fourth, I love that with 30 seconds left, he got the follow-up dunk and won.
Yeah.
Like just not. And this is what we talked about.
Never gonna.
We said I want us to play like we're playing the Knicks. I want us to play 100% the whole time. These guys did it literally. And B-ball Paul probably also did that because he knew that he probably wasn't thrilled with his first half, whether it was his defense or his offense, like he said in the half game or halftime interview, like whatever it was, he wanted to make sure that he made up for it in the second, and he absolutely did. No complaints for him behind. So Duren had 13 rebounds and almost 10 more minutes than B-ball, and then Cade had 9 in over 10 more minutes than him, and so he had 9 rebounds and 19 again. Like just so impressive, and it's just so lucky that he's going to be our second big for 4 more games, and he just continues to prove that there's no reason why we should worry. Of course, we miss Stu. They all bring different things, but like he's not someone in this stretch of games coming up that is difficult. I'm not bummed about it. Like he's definitely the best. He's better than most second string bigs, and he's definitely the best third string big in the league.
Easy.
100%. Yeah.
Easy. I want to get to this real quick and we can move on.
Yeah.
Camille says, Deuce, I'm not sure if you still feel this way, but you used to think Stu should start and Reed should be in the rotation. In that case, who would you push out of the rotation? I wouldn't push anybody out. I would just like to see B-Ball Paul with Tobias off the bench in the second unit. That gives you, and let Tobias lead the second unit offensively. Let Daniss be your point guard, play with Caris LeVert. Maybe you have Ron or Javonte there. And you just, I want B-Paul to get more minutes because you see it's hard to watch a guy like him play as well as he does and not get a lot of minutes. Like, it's not even just be effective as he is, and to not play, because every time he plays, it's like, man, he needs more minutes. So I wouldn't mind seeing him with Tobias off the bench. I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen now, this late in the season, but just to get him more minutes and to let him, and then for Tobias too, let Tobias get buckets on second stringers. He's doing it on first stringers now. Imagine how much easier it would be off the bench with him getting against those second stringers. So that would be another advantage. But I still would do that, Camille. That's why obviously Stu and JD will give the defense. And the second unit to me is just more balanced on both units with the offense with Tobias. So that was my thought, but we'll see. As long as he just gets some consistent minutes the rest of the way, I'd be happy with that personally. But what I like about him, what I love about B-Ball Paul Boss, his intangibles, obviously, right? Just doing the dirty work and stuff like that. But even with the things that do show up, like he gets most of his points without having one play drawn up for him. He just fits in and he just finds a way to be impactful. Because he's always going to bring that high motor. He's like, if you bring the high motor, even if you don't have a bag or you're not offensively talented, you're going to be impactful. You're going to find yourself in a box score just from being a high effort player, right? But the thing about him, he's not just a rim runner. It ain't like he's just one of those limited offensive guys who just hustles and that's how he scores. Like, he's got skills to go along. Like, he plays as if he's got the motor of a guy who needs to stick around in the NBA by being a high motor guy. He plays like with that kind of motor, but he's got the skills to stick around in the NBA too. So that's the beauty of it. It's like you have a guy who's humble, who's got the humility to be able to play that way as if they need to do that to stay in the league, but they got the ability of a guy who is a second or even a stringer or even a starter. Yeah. You don't find too many guys in this league who have that, who are that valuable to where they're willing to just be that guy and then bring the offense out when you need it. Most guys, they want to get to the offense if they got it, and then they'll do everything else. So they'll have whatever. But he's a guy, it starts with the motor. Regardless of my skill level, regardless of whatever, I'm going to bring the energy. I can do more than that. And when you ask me to do it, I'll be ready. But I'm not going to demand I need to have all this right now. Like, you don't see that too often. No. So his humility and his willingness to just do what's best for the team is very understated. Very understated. And I think he should be rewarded with more minutes. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Yeah.
And like someone said, I think it was Crud, probably next year. This is kind of how I feel about it. I think because we're still winning, like it's still working. So while we do see the plus and the benefits for both, right now what we're doing is working. But I could see that happening more next year. And then Camille to say that he thinks then Wu is out. I think again,
I don't think so. I don't think completely.
Is still a thing. Yeah, this is still. And we talked about it because, I talked about how I think we're going to be more of a fluid 12-man rotation than we are a 10-man rotation. And that's where that would kind of come into play. You can't be mad at that. But I think, again, that would probably be a next year thing.
I can see that.
Because as much as, even if we go all the way even if we win the championship this year, we're not keeping the same team. I'm not saying that we're getting rid of everybody, but there's a couple guys.
Exactly the same?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like there's a few guys, so I could see, so that would be more of a adjustment for next year or just what's needed at the moment. So yeah, I can see why, but I do agree. Like it would be nice to see B-Ball Paul even more, but I think it just also just comes, especially, the game does slow down in the playoffs, and part of that is fouls to an extent. So just having him there to know that our other two guys can literally be as physical as they need to be, and if they foul out or get into foul trouble, we still have more to do. That's kind of the benefit of it right now as well, with him just not getting. I think he's still. I think B-Ball will be in the playoff rotation. Is kind of what I'm saying.
I do too.
And I'm saying, and because I think it will take. I think he'll come in. I think we'll be less. Like if Isaiah Stewart or JD get 2 early fouls, I don't think JB would be like, okay, just stay out there and try not to get 3. I think then he's like, okay, like let's rotate it out because the playoffs, obviously matter a little bit more, and it's so that's more likely to happen. So I do think we will see him, but right now he's definitely taking advantage and making a mark on the minutes that he is getting. He moved from starter to now off the bench and is still putting up great numbers, which we know he does. We know he does.
Exactly.
The B-ball Paul reign is still high. I feel like he has yet to have a bad game when it's substantial minutes, like 5, 6, 7 minutes. Like, yeah, okay, he didn't do it.
Right.
Great.
When it's meaningful, he's
meaningful.
Produced. I
Exactly.
agree. Good point. Good point. I'm gonna get to this real quick, and then we'll go to our last guy. Divine has a question for us. Says, next year, would y'all want a better player? Would y'all want better players, like more depth, improve the margins, or a second guy with Cade? This is a good question. For me, I'll say this. It depends on what happens in the playoffs. And that's why I'm happy they didn't make a move for a second guy, because they have the opportunity now to see how it looks like this. So if you make a move now for a second guy, you will never know what it would have looked like if you just added around the margins. You can't undo a trade and start over once you make the trade. If you make that move with that second guy, you're stuck. So you can always go make the move for the second guy, but you can't always look at it now if you make a move. So it's like, look at it for how it is now. I think at the end of the season, bro, we'll know the answer to this question because because Trajan stood pat. He wants to be able to see it both ways. By getting a second guy now, we don't really know what we need yet to know if we need to do that. So that's a premature move. So I just think by the end of this year, we'll know.
Like
by the time the season's over, we'll know. Go ahead.
We got a lot of people agreeing with you, because that's what I feel too. And the thing is, it feels like our biggest issue the last few games, our biggest issue on the season has been that we haven't consistently been able to have offense besides Cade and Duren. It's starting to even out more. I don't know if it's cohesiveness or what, but Cade is able to dish to multiple people and they're able to get the job done. So, and I think it will just kind of be kind of the right price as well. Like, of course, as we go into the playoffs, we'll see what improves. We need to improve. A lot of our guys that we rely on to come off the bench are more defensive minded, and everything, because that's what we're aiming for. But if we do go for a second guy, because I think we will bring in someone, but it's not going to be a big move. Like, we're not going to get rid of our young guys and we're not going to get rid of our talent to bring in someone. And our second scorer will most likely be someone that fits both, and also maybe he isn't, as prominent in the NBA, not like a big, not a big superstar pairing, like LeBron and Luka, not like that, but it will be, I think that we'll bring in someone that's a little bit more offensive, reliable. But right now, like you said, we're proving that some of these guys Duncan's been getting into it. Jenkins, not tonight, but he's been very reliable. Tobias has been super reliable. JD is at the rim, has been reliable. Even Paul Reed at the rim. I would say Paul Reed is doing much better offensively.
I agree. Than
like Stu, obviously incredible defense, but Paul Reed gets the ball more offensively, gets it in the basket more, I'll say.
Right.
So, because Stu really, his superpower is setting screens, and he doesn't do the pick and roll too often like Cade and Duren do. But
sometimes.
But
I not the same rate. I agree.
Yeah. But Paul Reed has definitely been more offensive presence than Stu, not negging on either of them, but they both have their strengths. So it's starting to prove that more. And so if that continues, then I could see them also just making one more tiny move with some things.
And that's the thing too. I think what you just said that's kind of where I was going. I don't even know if Trajan would even look to go for a second guy per se. And I say that, boss, I'm thinking about it now. Earlier, you were like, you guys in the chat have all been saying this team is resembling, 2003 or 14. And you mentioned how this team is, what was it you mentioned? As far as 20 games, 18 games and 20 turnovers or more is reminiscent of what? The 03. So you can see this team is being put together to be reminiscent of what's worked before, right? And so with that in mind, think about that team. Think about that 03, 04 team. Who was the second guy on that team? Who comes to mind like that? It was Rip as the first guy, and then you had a few third guys. And those guys rotated at being the second guy every other night.
Yeah.
One night it'd be Tayshaun getting you 15 to 20. Then it'd be Rasheed getting you 20, right? So that was the difference. And then every now and then you have Ben go and get you 10, 15, right? So it rotated. It wasn't like it was a first guy every night, second guy every night. No, it wasn't. We weren't built like that. We had so much unpredictability and just balanced talent at every position. We didn't need to have a second guy. A first guy who's going to get us 25, a second guy who's going to get us 20, a third guy is going to get us 15. No, we weren't structured like that. We're structured where we've got our leading scorer, Rip Hamilton, and then any other night, it could be Chauncey popping off, it could be Tayshaun popping off, it could be Sheed popping off. A bunch of third guys who rotated being the number 2 guy. So I like it better that way anyway. And that's based on how they're trying to build it, based on what Trajan's saying, maybe he's trying to do the same thing. So we'll see.
Exactly. And also we have guys, we have Chaz. We don't know how he's going to be incorporated later too. I could see him staying with this team and becoming, a rotation guy. So we do also we also have a lot of good G League guys too. Wendell Moore's been popping off. Okumadu.
Yeah, he's nice. He's
nice. Who's the other one that's been nice lately? There's a B in his name. It's either the first or last name.
It's a lot of names that got B in this.
I mean, starting with, I don't know, but
we'll come back to it. Go ahead.
There's a few Cruise guys that we could bring up to. We're building in that way as well, which is also why I'm not if Joe Dumars wants picks for Trey Murphy, sure, because we have our G League guys here. If anything,
knock that.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting what the goal is for next season. I talked about it in our roundtable. I think that Trajan has his finger on something. I think
Bryce
we're
Williams.
a team.
Sorry.
Yeah, Bryce Williams. Thank you. They're the kind of guys who we take it game by game, but Trajan thinks ahead. It's why Ron Holland was drafted. It's why Dennis Schroeder was he thinks ahead. And so I think he already has a plan for probably plans A through F of what he could potentially do. But I think he does have a plan I think he already knows what he wants to acquire. I think he already knows who he wants in the draft. I think he already knows what he wants next season to look like, even though he's still focusing on this season. So, all I can say is I trust him completely right now. He's done nothing really to break my trust.
Yeah.
So
I would have liked to see Jaden on this team.
Of course.
But I'm understanding the why. From what Amari was saying, guys, there wasn't really a plan to extend him this offseason. I just don't think they felt they could bank on him returning in the state that things kind of looked. They weren't really comfortable committing that much money to it. So I do understand it. And then of course the pick swap. As of right now, we'd be going from 30th pick in the draft if it was ours to 21st because Minnesota has kind of dropped a little bit. So that's 9 spots is a big difference in the first round. So I'm getting to understand. Go ahead. You said what now?
You know who was drafted at 21st in his draft?
Who?
Tyrese Maxey.
Wow, he was.
So I never, and of course the most famous one, Jokic being drafted in the 40s. But you never know with the draft stuff, and I trust Trajan, again, like Chaz was drafted in the 30s and his catch and shoot is incredible. He just really hasn't had time to be cohesive with that. We don't know. But anyways, with Jaden too, I think it was a little bit mutual because we remember last year at the trade deadline, we didn't even know if we would keep Malik. Malik went to him and he's like, please don't trade me. I want to be here.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's why he didn't trade him. I'm just saying that the players feel good enough under our coaching staff, our admin, to be able to admit that and be able to say hey, because it's not only because we were doing well and we were winning. It's not like we were first place. It's also because of chemistry and what they build. Malik Beasley is well-traveled and he's asking, I don't want to leave. That just says a lot about our fans, the city, but it also just says a lot about how the Pistons are being run right now and how they're being treated players. So I think it was a little bit more. So of course I would like Ivey to still be here. You never know. Maybe the second coming of Ivey emerges in a couple of years when he's back with us. We just do not know what can happen.
Yeah, a lot can happen.
It sounded like it was a little bit, everyone was kind of on the same page with it. And that's, it wasn't like a super betrayal. I think it was a betrayal in Ivey's eyes is what I'm kind of saying.
Yeah. No, I agree. For sure. So, yeah, all we can do now is wish him well, man. Hope it works out for him for sure. But guys, let's get to our last guy. We got a little off course there, but I had some good questions in there. Had to get to it. Let's get to this last. Shout out to Tom Gores for sure, man, for putting guys in place to do their job and letting them do it because He's in a good place. They're in a good place right now for sure. They got a lot of synergy right now. So Marcus Sasser, boss, last player of the night. Didn't play much. Played 2 minutes. Had 3 points. Had knocked down his only three ball, right? 1 assist and a turnover. So didn't play a lot. 2 minutes incomplete, but you know, he did what we would expect him to do. Get buckets.
Yeah, I would have of course liked to not see him get a turnover. But, but you know, it was I think if it was obvious, not that he didn't go out there with intention to play well, but I think if it was more important, he would have not made a mistake like that. But he hit his corner three. That made me happy. I'm always excited to see Sass. And again, I just noticed that he was in instead of Herter. And it could have been, you know, just for the reason that he's been here longer and they want to give him the respect of garbage time minutes of like, yeah, let's get you out there. But I also could have seen a case for Herter too if they put Herter in going back to Chicago. So, just glad that he went out there and made his only three because I always want to see more Sass. I know that there's negatives to him being on the court in terms of size, but just to know that he's you know, staying ready. He came in and he hit a three. It's not like he came in and airballed one, which we've seen with garbage time people before. So just happy to see him.
Glad he got a chance. Yep, for sure. All right, guys. I was waiting on him. Here you go. I ain't posting on all night. You hear Sass, he wake up out of nowhere. Yeah, I ain't mad. What's up, bro? All right, guys. Let's go ahead and quickly try to get to our last topic of the night. The GQ article, right? The GQ conversation with Cade Cunningham that took place, I believe, a week ago. So we got a few quotes we're going to go through here, guys. I know it's a few days have passed, but we're going to get to this for sure. So let's start with this. We got how many quotes? We got 4 quotes that we're going to go through here, and we'll try not to make this too long unless you guys want it to be. So, boss, let's get into it. First quote that I have here that comes from Cade is he says, quote, "I think we're the top team in the league. We got all the dogs we need." So for me, no surprise there. You know, I thought it was encouraging to say we got all the dogs we need. Like he feels like this locker room is tough and they all are committed to that. So I like that. But no surprises really. You know, we got the best record in the league. You know, Cade's an MVP candidate. The vibes are high. Probably as high as they've been in 20 years. Not even probably as high as they've been in 20 years. So I'm not surprised to hear that, but it's nice to hear the confidence that Cade has in his team. Like he loves this team. He loves this team. And that's not something he's been able to say a lot. Yeah. Since he's been here, since he's been a Piston. So they're not finished product or anything like that. But it's just nice to see that he feels that he can publicly say, I love this team. We got dogs. We got what we need to win. So it's nice for him to hear him say that because we have not heard that often from him.
And in the context of it, guys, it wasn't him just being like, oh yeah, see, we're number one now, we're number one. It was they had asked him like how he felt coming into the season. He was talking about how he felt like the East was a little bit wide open, especially after what they did last season, how they wanted to improve, how, you know, there were some injuries, but he didn't allude to that. He just thought that the East was anyone's game. It's more so what I don't think he alluded to like, oh, this person's injured, this team's going to be bad. Like nothing like that, but it's more like it's anyone's game. Because you saw the Pacers go to the finals, which I noticed it early on, and we beat the Pacers last year in a few good games at the in-season tournament and stuff like that. But anyways, that was more of what it was. Like he believed that they were the number one team in the East coming into this season, and they put themselves there. And he believed it because of the team that we have and the team that's gotten us there, the Dogs. So so that's just was more of the context of it, because it's almost just like, well, you're number one. Do you believe that? He's like, yeah, I do. No, it was the context of coming into the season. Like, yeah, this is what I genuinely believe. And that mindset, and just like I feel like he genuinely believed when he said we're not 12-28 bad or whatever he said, or
2 and
28. He 2, not 12. He genuinely believed that. So you can tell that, you know, he definitely has his finger too on the pulse of what's going on, and that's huge in a captain. I mean, he's not our captain per se, but I would say he is. That's just huge in our leader, because it means that when I feel like that when something's lacking, he'll call it out. He'll let them know. Yep.
So so Vulture, just Google KGQ. It'll come up. You'll find it. It's everywhere.
It's an interesting article. It's a little bit colorfully. Like I'm just like, I don't need to know what he's wearing. while you're saying this. It's very
it's a business situation too. You know what I mean? So I ain't mad at him for that.
But his quotes, because you have quotes, and then at the end, I'll also just mention there were some quotes from people in Cade's life. I'll just quickly mention too. But
all right, bet. So let's get to the next one. That I have here. He says, quote, "I want to be on the Olympic team coming up. I think I am the best American player." And yeah, first of all, guys, as far as him being on the Olympic team, like Captain America is going to be on the Olympic. Yeah. He's going to be there, guys. Team USA, like, book it. He's going to be there. JD is probably going to be there too. There's not a lot of competition as far as big men who are born American, who are American based. JD is going to be there with him. Like that combination is reaping crazy benefits for the Pistons already as a duo, top duo in the league. So it just makes sense to have that same chemistry there with your point guard. So he's going to be there too, because you got to keep this in mind, guys. Grant Hill is the managing director for USA Basketball. That means he selects the players for Team USA. Mm-hmm. From what I've seen and heard, he loves Cade Cunningham. He loves his game, and they have a good relationship. We've seen the pictures and all that stuff. But by all accounts, from what I've heard, he's got a good relationship with Cade, and he likes Cade's game, and he likes the way Cade carries himself, representing USA. That kind of stuff is just as important as the on-court stuff. That's why certain players who are talented won't ever get selected. It is what it is, right? But secondly, too, Ant-Man, Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, D. Mitch, Kawhi. Cade just put all y'all on notice, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's putting his stake in the ground and publicly telling the league that he sees himself as the best American guy. And NBA fans across the league, like, they love a guy like Ant-Man, right? Because he's not afraid to be honest publicly. He's not afraid to say where he thinks he stands. I mentioned how after the All-Star game when he won the MVP, he said he thought he was the best player in the world. So if you're going to love Ant-Man for that, and I'm talking to non-Pistons fans, right? If you're going to love Ant-Man for doing that, you can't get mad when Cade does it. This is what you say you want, the unfiltered, honest truth, right? This is what he's giving you. And Cade doesn't, like, Ant-Man as a talker. He's always yapping. I like him. He's being honest, but he's always yapping, right? And Cade isn't always yapping. Cade isn't always got something to say. Cade is on the more on the quiet side, off the court, right? So that's how you can tell he means what he says, because he doesn't say a lot. So when he says something, that's how you know he means it. And so now I just like that he's officially putting the league on notice, man. And the crazy part about it, it's not even crazy anymore, is that he's not wrong. Well, I do think he's the best American player right now.
Cade will say. So, yeah, Ant yaps. That's exactly how you describe it. He just yaps. He doesn't care what comes out of his mouth. Cade is just more aware of what comes out of his mouth, but it's all still true and all legit. Like, he will confidently say, yeah, I'm the best American player. And, I mean, Ant will say it too, but Ant just with a little bit more, some little tidbits.
A little brash sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, Cade speaks the truth. He just, he's not just. Like
he knows how to package it.
But not even like PR. It's just kind of who Cade is. Like he doesn't need to yap. He'll just tell you how it is and leave it like that. He doesn't need to explain himself. He doesn't need to say anymore. He'll just say it. So they're both very blunt and honest. And like I said, I do think that they have a good jive together. But I do of course, I'm always excited for basketball in the Olympics. But something about this upcoming year, I feel like the last few Olympics have been very much our vets, our guys that we can, call our own. I think it's going to be much younger for us this year. This upcoming Olympics. Obviously we're still going to have some of the best players in the league that are a little older, but I think we're going to have more young guys who haven't been to the Olympics yet. Or I think Ant was in the Olympics last year. Yeah, so he'll be there again. But to me, like I said, I think by 2028, it's going to be kind of a new lineup where the last two Olympics have been kind of the same guys. So, someone said they think Bam will be in there. I think Bam. Yeah,
I've seen him on like mock teams.
But I think it will be Duren over him. And
no, I do too.
Not enough to Bam. I think Bam hasn't. I think that. Right now, Bam Adebayo is kind of stuck in that. Well, he's been a good player and he's been there before, but he'll be older. I think he'll be 31, 32 when that Olympics happens. And I'm sorry, but I haven't heard anything about Bam this year. I don't know. I don't think that Bam. He's a reliable big, but is he? I feel like Duren's above him in the American category. So.
And we're talking today. Like their trajectories are probably going in opposite directions anyway.
2 years
So
from
2
now.
years from now, how much better is JD going to be? 2 years from now, what's
Right.
Bam going to look like? So I
I'm not
definitely
gonna say-
think he may be the starter.
Well,
JD may be
exactly.
the starter with Cade.
Not saying that Bam's not going to be there, but I think JD would be above him in that. And again, this is 2 years away. We don't know what happens, but like Bam's kind of peak is, I think he's hit his peak, and I don't think he's getting worse. But
It's kind of
he's not.
plateaued. Like he hasn't really,
He's just
kind of leveled off.
He's doing Bam things. Bam is a good player. I never doubt Bam.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I could see the Pistons having 2 starting players on team. And we've never been able to say, I don't even know if we've had 1 starter for the Olympics. Let me see, 92, Isaiah got snubbed, 96, Grant Hill started in 96.
Yeah, because Prince went to the Olympics, but he wasn't a starter.
2008, but he didn't start. Right.
Right.
He didn't play much, but he had his moments. But yeah, I think Grant Hill was the last and maybe only starter because Chauncey was there as well. Chauncey went, but I think he was also the third behind Chris Paul and Jay Kidd, or maybe Darren Williams. I can't remember. But yeah, so this will be first time in a long time, probably about 30 years. And it's funny because we talked about Grant Hill being the director.
I think
no. Steve Kerr was the coach.
I know, but he's talking about right now. I don't think that's decided.
Oh, if he's going to be, I think he is going to be the coach. I think he's slated to be the coach
so maybe that's why
in advance. But
that's
I don't know if he will start though. Like he might be there. I think he deserves to be there. Aside from Spo being the coach, I don't know if he'll start.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I like what Kay had to say about that for sure, because it's going to be fun watching those 2 guys on the Olympic team together. That's going to be awesome. Also, I think Drummond went for the FIBA 1 year, but that's something totally different. All right, let's get to the next quote, guys. Let's see. Okay, so the next one that we have, he said, okay, when asked if he feels he's a level below Joker or Shea, he said, no, not at all. He didn't say I don't think so. He said, no, not at all.
Exactly.
So what he's saying is that he thinks he's the best American player, and he at least thinks he's the same level player as Joker and Shea. And here's my take. I think those guys may be ahead of him offensively right now. Maybe, but I think he's ahead of both of those guys defensively. And I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close. So he's got more to prove than those 2 guys right now, because those guys have both won championships, with the last 2 Western Conference championship winners, and they're MVPs as well. But I think Cade is right there. If you want to say he's slightly below because of the accolades and the experience, okay, fine. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a case to be made that he's right there looking them eye level in the face.
That's like, I agree with you too, like accolades, sure. But okay, so Shea is his scoring. Then you go to rebounds. That goes to Cade and Yoke.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to assists. That goes to Cade and Jokic.
And
you go to defense. That goes to Cade.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 out of those 4 categories, Cade is in.
Exactly.
And I mean, Jokic scoring too. So I'll say 3 out of those 4 categories, Jokic is in different ways. Shea, his defense is good enough to help his team.
Subpar at best. It's like,
but one of those 3 categories, sorry, he doesn't register double-doubles often. Can he assist the ball? Yeah. But I think it's just, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. For me right now, it's Jokic and Cade. That's who's in the argument for me. And I said last time, I think that Cade's above Jokic, and I still agree with that. Jokic had a better game last night, but in his games coming off, I don't know if it's because his knee is bothering him still. I don't know what it is, but he is flopping like crazy. And he did flop. He does utilize the flop, but mostly it's on defense, or he'll utilize the he'll get a guy reaching and he'll do the pull.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit more. But lately he's been flopping a lot more. And I'm like, are you just frustrated because where is this coming from? And I don't appreciate that from him, because I'm like, okay, flop a few times, but I don't want to think of you as a flopper, on every possession. And again, that's where Cade kind of comes ahead, because Shea, I'm sorry, Shade isn't a flopper in the sense that like Brunson and Jokic has been, and Embiid and Luka. Like he's not a flopper like that.
Man.
But it's Shay's push-offs for me. People are like, he creates such good space. He offensive fouls.
Yeah, he does do that
and
a
you
lot.
let him do it.
Yeah,
and that's what gets me, because then he's very good at making a fadeaway shot where his leg is kicked in the air and he can flail. I think that he does sell it, but I don't think he's a flopper like certain people can be. You know, like Embiid. Okay. Embiid is very good.
I don't know, man. I've seen him. I've seen him sometimes.
He can.
God.
I've also watched him where it's very pure and it's very like, God, his mid range is almost automatic too.
So consistently, you feel like those guys a little bit more, like just consistently game to game.
Yeah. And I think Shai does get to the free throw line, but I think it's mostly his push-offs and then flailing. And I think if a guy doesn't fall for his push-offs, that's when he flails.
Yeah, that's true.
I think when a guy stays steady and he doesn't create the space, that's when he's like, oh my God, kind of thing. Like I ran to a wall.
Luka's terrible too, but you're right, Crow. He grabs you and then he brings you into him and then tries to initiate. It's more so that I would agree.
If I can admit that Jokic is doing it, and if I can admit that Cade loves to, if a guy's behind him, Cade loves to cut in front of his path to try to get a foul that way. That's Cade foul baiting. Like they all have their own. But for Shai, he's at the free throw line a lot. And I think it's just because if he doesn't get his push off and get his space, I don't think he can make a contested shot, like straight up contested. I think he needs his space to make it. Yeah. And he'll either flail if he doesn't get it, or he'll create the space by pushing off. That's what I think of Shai.
No, the push off is valid. The push off is valid. I agree with that.
Yeah. But anyways, when you go category by category and the effects that they have on their team, like obviously we're deep. We can win without Cade. Nuggets are deep. They can win without Jokic. Thunder are deep. They can win without Shai. So that should be taken off. That they're like, oh, but their team can win without them. All three of these guys' teams can win without them. Is the honest to God truth. So now it's just about skill on both ends and how you impact it. And also, I feel like Cade is more clutch. I'll throw that in there as well. I think he's more clutch than
Shai.
Guys, yeah.
And Jokic.
Jokic can make a clutch pass.
I don't know, man. I don't know. So this is the first year I've seen Cade consistently clutch, and like even the last couple of weeks, he's been like takeover mode, where it's like there's been times in the past where he's left meat in the bone. It's like, man, he just made that. Even the playoffs last year, he didn't shoot well in those last couple games to end the game in big, in clutch moments. Shot just kind of rattled off, just couldn't get the fall.
Agreed.
This is the first year where he's just like, give me the ball, y'all can't stop me, and I'm a scorer. And it's just been like, ooh, like this is another level he just hit, So I've seen those guys do it in the past consistently in big moments. So I can't really say that he's there yet in that aspect, but I think he's coming. If he keeps this up, he'll be there.
Maybe not clutch shots where we have to make the game winner, I think, but he's more clutch and like, I'm coming in the middle of the fourth. I'm going to make sure that we get ahead and get this.
Get a shot. Okay.
Yeah. So I would say that he kind of takes control in that aspect, which, I mean, I guess both of those guys can do. But anyways, so I could see right now for me, it's like Jokic and Cade at the top. They're intertwinable. It's hard for me to pick. I do say Cade right now, but if Jokic can, the Nuggets run a 3-5 skid, and if they can turn it around, which, by the way, they've never really been good going into the playoffs, and they turn into a playoff team. So, but an MVP is a regular season award, and Jokic is still averaging a double-double or triple-double. Like, that's something, like you said, don't be complacent in the defense that Ausar is doing. We cannot be complacent in what Jokic does every night. But I do think that it's between those two, and then Shai and Luka and Jaylen Brown is in them. I even say Jaylen Brown above Luka at least. For what he's been able to do with the Celtics. Yeah.
Two-way. Yeah. I mean, you can make an argument that Luka's the best offensive player out of all those guys. You can make an argument. Yeah. But the fact that he's so bad defensively kicks him out of the conversation. At least those other guys have some level of two-way play.
And if you like ethical ball, I think Cade, Jalen, and even, again, like he's been flopping more, but Jokic is above Shai and Luka in terms of getting the job done without needing the extra steps or having to get to the free throw line. Because Jokic is a flopper, but he's not a free throw shooter. You never see him at the line. He's a flopper on defense mostly, I would say. Like he sells a hook or a hit or a screen pretty well.
Okay.
Get the ball back.
Okay. That makes sense. I like what Heisenberg said too, though. Like, I don't even qualify what Cade does as like foul baiting, because
Right.
it's just like he's just outsmarting you. He's getting
Right.
you. He like once you're on his hip, it's a wrap. Like he's not allowing you to get back in front. So he just makes it hard for you to get back in front. So in the fact that he's a big guy, yeah, I that's just ethical basketball, Heisenberg. That's just the IQ of Cade. And yeah. So I like that comment.
Yeah. But we can talk about MVP all night. I know.
You already know. Let's get to my last quote, boss, and we can get to some of yours if you have some.
Okay. Yeah, just a couple of tidbits.
All right, cool. So guys, Cade appreciated the fact that he's becoming he's starting to get the tag of being an ethical hooper. I thought that's dope, which basically means he doesn't rely on flopping. He doesn't do the head whip, all these things that we just talked about, right? That guys do to draw fouls. And Cade said, quote, "The flopping is just too much. 3 of the top 5 to 10 guys do it constantly." Now, I know I'm better than yada, yada, yada. I wish you would have said who you talking about. But he said, "I know I'm better than yada, 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 but I'm not getting the same calls. People feel like this guy might be better than me, and he's nowhere near better than me." First of all, like once again, I think somebody said it earlier, like who did this interview, bro? Because Cade don't usually talk like this.
It was chill.
Not publicly. Like when he's, I know behind closed doors he does. Like when he's with his teammates, when he's with his older brother Cannon, when he's with his cousin AB Ashton. Like yeah, they had those conversations all the time, right? But this is the first time we've really seen him publicly and being like doesn't even care about who hears or what they gotta say. Like keeping it a stack. When he's compared to other players, he's usually very politically correct in his answers. But this time he showed more personality, and I like that he did that. And just shows the confidence that I think he has now in his game.
Yeah. And I mean, so that was part of my notes too, is just that one, because he says he feels like he doesn't get the same respect from the refs because he gets fouled, but he doesn't sell it. And I do think part of it is, a lot of it is the refs just kind of rewarding this kind of thing, because it got so bad that we introduced a flopping tech to our game and it's never used.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, so we're just deciding that it's part of this game. But for me, it's like, okay, sometimes the refs maybe can't tell. They're refs, so, but sometimes, it is hard. But like for the guys that are repeat offenders, you should be a little bit more aware of their antics.
Right.
And sometimes, they do. And so again, the playoffs can be foul heavy, but they can also be like, I'm not calling that because it's the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not doing that. So for us, I think it will benefit Cade in the playoffs because he doesn't need to flail when he's fouled. He's actually fouled in the playoffs. They lay off some people. I think that he specifically, when he says these guys aren't better than me, like I definitely don't think he's going to say that Shai's not better than him in terms of, because Shai really is a good shooter. So, but in other aspects, sure. I think, my mind goes to Brunson and Jalen Brown, guys that he's competed against multiple times, where I think he knows that he's better than them. And so that's kind of where I go. And again, I said Jalen Brown's a little bit more ethical with it. He's just very good at the pump fake and the lean in thing, but he's not as obnoxious with it. I would say
I wouldn't even call Jalen Brown a flopper.
He's not a flopper, but he is a foul baiter, which is what Cade says in this. He does say foul baiting. He doesn't say flopping. So, and
he did. He said the flopping is just too much.
That too, but also he said the foul baiting is what he said the biggest problem in the NBA is foul baiting. Those are two different things.
Yeah, so I think he means both, because he said 3 to top 5 to 10 guys do it constantly. The flopping.
Yes.
So
I think I think the flopping is that aspect, but also I think the foul baiting too, because he's like Cade will pump fake every now and then, but usually he's just going for his basket. He'll just try to get around a guy. If he's pump faking, he's not pump faking to draw a foul. He's pump faking to step around you and get his score. Yep. So that's where I think that differs. But he said that he was beating himself up over it. He said that he was beating himself up over not, getting these calls, not being one of those kind of players. But then he sees people like his fans and like people in the NBA appreciating his game, calling it pure. And he said that's one of the best compliments he's ever had.
Yep.
Is knowing that his game is pure. And that's kind of how I feel, and that's why some of the foul baiting or the flopping more so bothers me. It's like, don't you want to play basketball?
Right.
You just want free throws? You just want to win that way?
Yep.
That's how. And so I think that just also goes to show that Cade is like, no, this is, of course, there's certain things in the league that you're like, oh, it could be better. And he did say he did say that it is a skill. He did call it a skill. He just said I couldn't. He said I couldn't fake one.
I can't get in the car. Yeah.
He's like I couldn't foul bait. You would know. He's like that is the skill. He does acknowledge it's a skill. He's just saying he doesn't feel like he needs to do it, and he loves that the fans appreciate him for that. And so that's just huge to me too.
That's crazy to me that flopping is a skill. Like where are we in where are we? Like in the world of I don't know. The game of basketball is pure.
Yeah. That's
an added element to the game that wasn't there before during the golden age of basketball. So like I will never be able to get with like he may say it, maybe he's come around to that. I'm never gonna be able to get with that. That flopping is a skill because here's the thing. It's like it's only a skill because it's allowed. Like you're anything you have to do that relies on the referees, to me, is not a skill.
It's a skill.
It's not a skill. That's just how I see it. My mind will not be changed on that. I just will never think that anything that you do to try to get the official to blow the whistle is not a skill, bro. Like this when you're growing up as a kid, there's no referees around. When you're on a hardwood and it's just you and the basketball. Ain't no referees around when you're working on your game, working on your handling, it's just you and the hoop in the basketball. So when you start having to go to referees and say that's a skill, no, bro. I'm never gonna be able to get with that logic. I'm just not.
I think skill in this context, what I think of it is like I'm a terrible actor. If you tell me you're like, hey Sarah, you have to go pretend to be really angry at me, I'm just gonna be giggling the whole time. And I think that's more of like there's some people that like, yeah, they can turn it off like, yeah, I'll change my persona. I think that's more of like the skill of like it's an acting skill. It's not a basketball skill. It's a skill in performance.
We're playing basketball. So it's like, so that's why I can't see it as a skill.
This is one of my, and I totally agree, but that's just more of how I see it. Like Cade's just like, yeah, I'm a bad actor. I'm a bad liar. It's more so being like, yeah, I can't do that. I have to practice that. There are some people that maybe had to practice it, maybe didn't. Mm-hmm. But also, this is what always gets me too. When people are like, who would win today? This starting five or against this starting five? And it's guys, it's like Luka and Giannis and LeBron. I'm throwing LeBron in there. And then it's against
at this stage at 41. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but no, in his whole career. And then listen. And then it's against.
I just make sure I understand you quick. Go ahead.
Not flopping, but it's like guys in the league right now that are good. They're considered like the best, those guys versus Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer and Magic Johnson. It's like everyone today gonna be crying the minute they hit the floor and get elbowed. Mm-hmm. It's about rules. Mm-hmm. It's about like if you who would win back then? Not the players today.
That's not tough enough.
Cade,
not tough
Cade
enough.
Could do
right.
It.
That's why I said Cade and Kobe would be great. Yeah.
And I do think of Luka first. I'm like the refs would literally laugh in your face if you got swung at and got just like that. And Bill Laimbeer came hard down with his elbow. They'd be like, okay, just get back up. That's a foul. Now you get kicked out. Like some of these guys rely on that. They wouldn't be able to play physically. It's physical. It's physicality mostly. And I think our physicality this year is going to benefit us in the playoffs too, because of, like I said, there are fouls called, but they're going to call the actual fouls, not the touch fouls, not the fouls like that. And hopefully, they just lay off of what I think we've grown from last year, which we still have this mindset. It's been a Detroit mindset. We've grown from last year is truly playing through the foul calls. Mm-hmm. So if Jalen Brunson wants to whip his head again in the playoffs and he keeps getting to the line, our team's not going to take that and be like, well, we're not going to win. Now I got to try to draw a foul, all this stuff. No, they're just going to be like, okay, fine. Get to the line 30 times and we'll still win. Sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I heard you saying. Yeah, but I think I agree with Blackheart here. It's an acting talent. It's not a basketball skill. True. So, and this is not even towards you, because I know you're just saying what they say. When I hear guys say, oh, it's a skill, like, bro, to me, that makes me very angry with the officiating. Like Adam Silver, the official, like, y'all got to stop this, bro.
Right.
Because we even saw it because they pulled it back a little bit on James Harden. And we saw the following year when they really started to enact that, like, we're not going to call it every time. His efficiency went way down.
Yeah.
Because he relied so heavily on outside stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a skill to me. So I hear what you're saying. It's just that it just triggers me when I hear people say that foul baiting is a skill or flopping is a skill. Like, show me what you can do on your own merit.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I want to. Like I said, like there are players like Jalen Brunson. I've said this before. I've rooted for the Knicks in the first few years they were in the playoffs, so the Pistons weren't even close. Like I really love them. And I feel like it's gotten worse. Just like I just admitted, this season alone, Jokic's flopping has gotten worse. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch a game like that. And here's the thing is like our team, I think above any other one, even OKC, because OKC teams to get mad when they get called for a foul, but then they do the same thing. Like it's gonna be fun to play against them because they're both very physical teams. Yeah. The Pistons and OKC, but I think that our team truly is the best at like whether you call a bunch of fouls, we're gonna play through them, or if you lay off the whistle, we're better. And we saw a little bit of that tonight. If you lay off the whistle, we're still gonna dominate. We're not gonna worry about it. I think Giddey. There was one play where Giddey stayed back and complained. We've seen that with LeBron and Luka. We've seen that with Brunson. We've seen it with Cat. We've seen it with remember it was just a month ago, 2 months ago that Cat was on the floor acting
and didn't even get back into the frame.
Like defensively. So I think it's gonna teams like ours, team like the Spurs, and even if you hate OKC like I do, teams like OKC, we're starting to kind of the top teams are starting to kind of shift it to defense. OKC, yes, they have Shea as a flopper in a lot of people's eyes, but their defense from everyone else is still on, like, it's still high up. Like the top defensive teams are at the top of the league right now, and we're at the top of the league, being the team that gets the most fouls called against them. Mm-hmm. We've faced teams that have shot 90% or more from the free throw line, and we're still getting the job done. Yep. So it's just kind of, we're like, okay, fine. If that's how you want to play, we're not going to fall into that hand. We're not going to do that. And that's the kind of change it will take. And that's also why I think the young guys that we have, the young guys that are coming into our league that we draft, they're in our G League, they're on our team now, they're only going to benefit from that going forward too, is that kind of mindset. I think it's slowly shifting. It goes in waves, just like anything else, up and down. I think it is slowly shifting back into a defensive focused league. You have to have it because we've gone against teams are going against. Right now, it's just OKC has both. It's kind of where I'm at. OKC has.
I agree.
Defense, and we're getting there, but the defense is starting to pick up in a lot of areas.
I hope it continues because
exactly.
You got to draw the line somewhere. You have to draw the line somewhere. I like what Organic says. Jimmy Butler got to the point where he was missing easy layups, trying to and we see what Cat does on a nightly basis. It's ridiculous, bro. So, and the last point about that I'll make is it kills the pace of the game. Mm-hmm. You have to start and stop and start and stop and start and stop so many times. Mm-hmm. The game lags, like it just lags too far on. It kills the natural flow of the basketball game. It honestly hurts how the Pistons want to play.
Yep.
As far as getting up and down the court, having to take the ball out of the rim after a free throw is made every time. They got to run to the half court now because he just got a foul call because he flopped. It's like it just kills the whole pace of it. I don't think fans want to see that. I don't think fans want to see that. So I just hope at some point they draw the line somewhere.
I think they're starting
more ethical again.
It's becoming more. I think it started the last couple of years, but I just feel like it's a very big discourse right now in the NBA community. Is that? Yeah. And I do want to say, even when I noticed that Cade's not getting foul calls and then they get called for a foul. Cade tries to force them to call a foul on him, but still the right way. He'll drive to the basket and get contacted and be like, why didn't you call that? But he doesn't drive to the basket on the next play and flail to get it back. He's still going to show you that they're fouling me too. Call it. Yeah. So it will come down, I think, to also just like you said, it's kind of the way that the games are going. The refs are treating it because they need to stop rewarding that behavior. Bring the flopping tech. Bring it.
Exactly. Bring it. The way they have the kick out on the leg when you try to draw contact on the shot and you kick your leg out offensive foul, it should be at least offensive foul or tech. I'm with
Jeremy Grant has gotten it a couple times. We've seen guys fall down and get it. Who got it? Ivey got one. Remember, he got one a few weeks ago. I was like, what?
Crazy.
But like
he got like stonewalled on the moving screen too. It was crazy.
I don't know if they're just afraid to like misuse the flopping call, but I'd rather that than you call a BS foul on a guy that completely. It's like if you're Jenkins today, guys, Jenkins jumped up to try to block a Yabusele basket.
Right.
Jenkins didn't stand there and like try to get run over and flail and stuff. Like
the way Cade did when he saw Cade coming down the lane.
There are plenty of players that are willing to play the game and not try to draw fouls or not try to act like they. Yeah, it is my pet peeve. It's hard, and that's why I've been annoyed with Jokic. This is my second team. I've been like, I'm like, stop doing that. You're a good player without that.
Right. So all good points, boss. All good points, chat. We definitely need to talk about that all night for sure.
I was just gonna talk about my other just little tidbits that I picked up that weren't exactly the quotes. They're just a couple from the GQ article. Tobias actually had a quote in there about Cade. They asked Tobias about Cade. He said, composure at a level you don't see in guys his age. And this is a fact that we've known and reiterated. Just smoothness. He says he has the perfect balance of calmness and fire.
Mm-hmm.
He said everything that we've always said about Cade. And this is coming from his teammate. I also want to say that I appreciated Cade spoke very highly about his daughter's mom. It just, again, when you're comparing people, and
here you go with the off the court stuff.
I go back and forth with Ant. Obviously a great basketball player. I've been really liking the way he's approaching the game. I really like how him and Cade vibe. Like I really like Ant right now, but he has, the way he's talked about women before, the way he's treated women, not a fan. But Cade, again, what he basically said was that he's like, we have a great relationship, but he ended it with saying she's an amazing mom. I don't know what relationship they have. You don't know, but that's how you speak about the mother of your children, whether you're with them or not. You tell them that's how you speak about them. It just shows another sign of maturity to me. Lastly, Cade's mom, they were talking about just him and his wealth and his ambition and all this stuff. And she's like, he genuinely built all of this for us. She's like, this is how he's always been. He's always been about everyone around him and himself. If he eats, everyone else eats. We see that in his play, but that translates to his life as well. He has said it before, and then his mom just reiterated, but the goals that he set, he wanted to make sure they did right by his family as well. And so he's always just seems like he's a bigger picture kind of guy. And that just, again, goes to show we've seen plenty of famous basketball players, athletes across the board kind of, lose loved ones or lose family in that ambition. Rodman, Shaquille, guys, that don't have, wives or kids or family unit or family support, just because, that kind of life take over. So above all, Cade is, I think it just again goes to show that he's just a very well-rounded person. What he does on the court translates to his real life as well.
Yeah,
but I just
exactly.
wanted to shout that out to him because it just makes me more thrilled that he's our franchise guy.
But that's why we always say it's not just about getting the number one pick in the draft, in the lottery. It's when you get it.
Right.
We could have got it when the year when Paolo was the highest draft. You know what I mean? Like the highest prospect. No shade, but it's just like I feel like we got one of the best number one picks in recent years. You throw Ant in there, you throw Wemby in there, but it's all about when you get that number one pick too, because it's all about who's in that class.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as his family and stuff like that, like someone asked him what his biggest accomplishment was in life, and he immediately said, "My daughter."
Yeah.
And he said it's not close. And he's always, his family's very close knit, very tight knit. But he said like the way he was raised because he became a father at 16, guys. Like people forget he was young. He was still a kid himself, right? But here's the thing though. But here's the thing is that when he had his child, when he had Riley, in his mind he was like, "Oh, basketball's done for me. Like I gotta go be a daddy now." But like you're saying, like his mom was like, "If you still want to do this, we got you." Right. So, but it's just interesting to hear, like, he wasn't thinking about anything else other than being a father at that point. It's like, well, I'm a full-time dad now. That was just what he immediately went to as just a responsible young man at 16, which is crazy to say. So, says a lot about the character, like you said.
And, he became a responsible dad through basketball too.
Right.
He followed his dreams and kept he just kept up that, like I need to be a full-time dad. This is when he went to Montverde, which is out of state. It's kind of like a boarding school place, right? I believe. So
It's like
this
the
all
top.
happened at the same time. He had, I remember, I think it was an interview with Kevin Durant that I was hearing about this, where he was just like, yeah, like I found out I was going to be a dad, like right before I was going to go to this school to play basketball and everything. But it's him then, like I said, like working hard. It's like working hard to get to be the first pick in the draft, to carry his team, to get this a max extension contract, to continue to, now he's, buying, minority stakes in MLB. He's creating generational wealth. And this is all for his daughter, for his family, for everyone. So it just, again, sometimes even I forget how young Cade is, because you just have to remind yourself, like, there's some guys in this league that act 24, not in a negative way, but you're like, oh yeah, that's just a young kid still finding his way.
Yeah.
Cade's way is found. But he still has ambitions and goals. But again,
he just got it, man. He's just got it.
Yeah. He's just a great guy in and out all around. And I hope that, the push to make him the face of the NBA becomes reality, because I think he's a great role model for players, for young boys, for everyone. This is a great role model.
Yeah, totally agree, man. So it's all about, when you guys saw some comments here about other draft picks that we could have had in the past. Somebody said we could have had Anthony Bennett. Like, yeah, it could have been real spooky, bro. So it's all about when you get it too.
Right.
Yeah, we could have got Anthony Bennett for sure. Somebody said Reza Shea. So it's just like, yeah, it's all about the timing of it. Blackheart says Cade is a true song of ice and fire. Shout out to my Game of Thrones fans. Yeah, man. So that's all I got as far as from the GQ. I thought it was very well done. I liked how he was a little bit more open and honest about it, just giving us a little more substance about it. So that was cool to see too. And just his confidence, man. Like, his confidence is all-time high. And the big part of it is because he's got a great team to go along with him now. It's not just him trying to make everything happen himself. So dope stuff, man. So before we get out of here, guys, let's look ahead really quick to the Pistons. Not just next game, but next few games, because we got a little tough slate coming up. So, guys, the next 3 games for the Pistons is going to be important. They play the Spurs Monday, the Thunder on Wednesday, and the Cavs on Friday. Boss, I think this is the most competitive stretch of games so far, in my opinion.
If I'm you, I'm adding the Magic, the Cavs, and the Spurs the next 3. I'm saying the next 6 games are tough.
Think the next 6?
Yeah.
The Magic don't really.
I watched them play. They don't. They scare me in the fact that they've had our number a few times. Desmond Bane has been on one. Banchero,
not this team though. Not this. Like right. In years past, they have, when we were still finding our way. But
didn't they give us problems earlier this season when we saw them?
Even earlier this season, we were a different team than we are. You know what I mean? Like, I think right now we're definitely peaking. I'm
just saying the Magic aren't the Nets. Like who we have after. Like they're in there. And they might be not a trap game, but they're also, I would just say the next 6 games, or if you want to say 5 of 6, that's cool too. But I'd say the next 6 games aren't easy.
Yeah, because I wouldn't put them in that category with the Spurs, the Thunder, or the Cavs. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, with their win today, the Magic might be 6th in the East. I think the Sixers dropped down. So they're there.
I'm not worried about them.
Okay.
I'm not concerned about the Magic, but. We'll see. But I'm just saying these next 3 games, because these next 3 games are also at home. That was why I was kind of making that point too. Like,
okay.
If you guys want to kind of get to a game, this is a great time to go do it, man. Like, we got 3 great home games coming up. I think I may have to go to one myself, maybe 2. I don't know. We'll see. But I haven't seen Wemby in person yet, so I definitely want to do that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I think Boss has. I think you have.
No, I had a ticket right when he got injured.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't go because I was like, oh, I really want to see Wemby at the beginning of the season. Now I would go because I want to see Harper and Castle and Vassell. And I would see all these people like, dang it. But so I'm sure there's another game here. But
I think the Spurs game, which is coming up, is going to be tough without Stu. I know we got B-Ball Paul. I just think we're going to need bodies. I think we're going to need bodies that game.
But I would say the Spurs are tough because, well, they have Wemby, who can obviously do it all, but they are another perimeter team, mostly. Castle can get to the basket too, but they're they rely on Champagny and even Castle, Wemby, Johnson, Fox, like those are perimeter guys too. So if we have good perimeter defense, the Spurs are second in the West. They're only 2.5 games behind the
Thunder.
They're closer to the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
But the Spurs, for me, okay, I see us, if we do lose a game, I think the hardest of these 3, honest to God, is the Cavs.
I do too.
Like,
I do too.
I think OKC we're probably going to see without Shea. I haven't heard an update on him. I haven't really looked. They said that they were going to reevaluate after the All-Star. But I mean, Jared McCain, the next 2 teams are young and defensive. It's going to be more equal. The Cavs are young too. I think our paint game is better. Donovan Mitchell always gives us problems. Harden is
Harden. He's looking like
he's not
vintage Harden right now. Like the way he's playing.
I mean, I just saw the Cavs against the Nuggets, and the Nuggets are, again, they're different than us in terms of defense. But the Cavs, you just can't count out because their offense is pretty on. Like they don't go a lot of possessions without scoring. They're just scary to me. Mm-hmm. And they've overtaken the Knicks as third place. I think, but the Knicks win tonight. The Knicks back over. They're fighting with 3rd and 4th with the Knicks right now, so they're there. They're right there. But the Thunder, I'm excited about. Tomorrow, actually, the Cavs play the Thunder. Should tune into that.
That'll be an interesting game.
At 11 a.m. Tune into that, and I'll.
Why is it so early?
Where the teams are, I don't know, but we'll see.
That's a good one.
Where the teams are coming up.
The Cavs, like I mentioned, Harden, like James Harden and Kawhi. When I saw them with the Clippers, both of them looked like they were on the same super soldier serum because they both look like they just dove into the fountain of youth. They both look a little bit quicker, a little faster, a little more spry. They just look like they're in great shape and feeling really good right now. And I was just watching Harden; he's got that quickness back. Mm-hmm. Like they're gonna be tough, man. And Jared Allen is he's playing as well as he's been playing the last couple years.
That's what it is. He's playing aggressively, so that's the one that I really wish we had Stu for. I'm not saying
that's true. That's true too.
Can't do it, but I think Stu could maybe stop Allen a little bit more. But Paul Reed will be definitely beneficial. I think Paul Reed could probably match Allen, honestly, in terms of offensive output.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
But and they have Jalen Tyson, who I really like too. But those are a couple younger guys. He's actually shooting, I think since the new year, he's shooting like 49% from 3, which is ridiculous. So that's another thing. A lot of these are perimeter teams that we just have to play good defense about and make sure that we take advantage of our offensive possessions. But what do you think? I think I could see us being all of them, but realistically, optimistically, 2 of 3.
Which ones?
Spurs and Thunder. Or Spurs and Cavs.
I think the Cavs will probably give us the most trouble because there's not a lot of film on them with James Harden. That's the biggest reason for me. And they got Schroeder over there too. They got Keon Ellis. They got a lot of new guys over there that are in the gym right now, figuratively and literally, working on their chemistry. And there's just not a lot of film on how good. All those guys look together. So and they're on top of already being good, right? They have a lot of talent, but it's just not a lot to scout for. We're going to see a lot of things we haven't seen before with this combination. That's why I got Thunder and Spurs.
Well, they're all deep, all teams. I don't know. And we've already seen, I think Duren can handle Chet. I think Paul Reed can handle Chet. It's going to be, again, kind of just these next 3 teams, even though they have defensive prowess, they have a lot of, they're set in their offense, which we've been as on the upward trend. I do see us. I think we do have the Spurs. I think it's funny because, we're young like the Spurs, but I think we have a little bit more.
We do.
A little bit more. I don't know what it is. It's just a little bit more of something.
I think we're just deeper. They're deep, but I think we're just a little bit better.
Deeper in terms of experience, I think. They're young guys. I don't have a ton of experience, but their young guys look like young guys.
Yeah, I think our guys are just better. Just higher IQ players, just a little bit smarter, just a little bit. I just think they're a little bit better. I think talent is close. I don't know. I just feel like this team. I think as a team, we just play better though. As a unit, as a first and second unit, I think we just play better.
That's and Wemby is a phenomenal player, but he still can be stopped. You can still figure out ways to slow down Wemby. It's It's going to be fun. They're going to be fun, especially if they let the teams play. Like, these are games that I'm like, lay off the whistle because
This
it's
is a
just
good point. Spurs will have the best chance to get us. We like to live in the paint, and they got Wemby patrolling. That's a good point. That's a good point. JD gonna have to work. You're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to be physical with him.
Yeah.
Right? He's gonna have to be very physical. And it just depends on how much they'll allow. Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully the whistles are not the X factor in this game. But we'll see.
And again, we are to lead the league in fouls called against us and be number 1 in the East. So we're fighting through those. We're playing through it. And again, like I said, like it's not that we're getting lucky that teams are missing their free throws. That's definitely absolutely not the case. But it hasn't really come down to free throws, I would say. Right. But yeah, it's just everyone's just kind of have to be on, and it's nice that they're going to be fun. I'm excited. So I'm going to say that I predict a win on Monday, and then we'll see. We haven't seen any of these. We haven't seen these two teams yet. And we haven't seen Cavs with Harden, and then we play the Timberwolves next month, I believe, like a couple games apart. We haven't seen them yet either, which will be so fun with Ant and Cade together, because I think Ant was
that's
injured.
Gonna be fun.
But
it's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. So we'll see, guys. You guys let us know what you think in the comment section. Who you think we're gonna beat, who we're gonna lose. We're gonna go 3-1 or 3-0, 2-1, whatever you guys think. Let us know, and let us know why as well. So that's all we got, guys. We're like 2.5 hours in. We appreciate the 100+ that are still here. It's crazy.
Yeah, guys. Truly, I didn't realize it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. You guys are rock stars. Thank you.
Nobody said anything. Like, bro, I'm tired. Like, nobody said anything. So we appreciate y'all rocking with us. It lets us know that we're at least trying to do our part, right, boss? So thanks, man. We appreciate you guys for sure. Yuki says 3-0. Yeah, man. So listen, guys, we're gonna get out of here, man. We appreciate you guys as always showing up, showing out, as you guys always do. Make sure you guys are safe, stay warm, get some rest. Still got a little bit of weekend to go. Tomorrow is Sunday, so we should be able to relax a little bit. No game tomorrow, not until Monday. Go ahead, boss.
Real quick, is Monday a national game?
No, I don't think so. I
thought it was flexed.
No, the Thunder game is flexed.
Okay.
On the 25th.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure.
Yep. All right, guys. So make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe if you are new. And we hope you guys have a great Saturday night. And you got what's up?
It's on Peacock.
What's up?
It's on Peacock.
Is? This first game? You got flex too?
It says streaming options, Peacock.
They must have just flexed it because I checked earlier. I think I checked like 2 days ago and it wasn't.
Okay, we'll have to double check.
So,
but
yeah, if it is, you guys can expect us to be going live. So make sure your alerts are turned on so you guys can be alerted to that, and we will have fun with you guys over there. So y'all get some rest. Yeah, they said they flexed it. Okay, my bad. Y'all right. You're right, boss. All right. So we'll see you guys Sunday then. Sunday night. And
Monday.
Hopefully be Monday night. My bad. Monday night.
Okay.
Yeah. You messed me up with that flex, but it's all good. All right, guys. We out of here, man. We out of here. Y'all get some sleep. We'll see you guys come Monday night. Y'all know the drill, man. Detroit versus everybody. Out of here. Peace.
All the dirty work, all dog. I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot, and I'ma be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think it's just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking fun, this I heard you're ashamed. Talking that shop, you must run this way. Put the dog palm, mess around, find out, Put the dog palm, mess around, find out, For some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're ready for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that.